Welcome everybody. Um,
Hello.
Captain here, and this week I'm joined by Daniel Arias from Embrace the
Yo.
Suck, Arias in the
Yes.
Nation. I can't remember all your channels. You've that many,
There's
so
too many. Just that those are
yeah,
good. Those are good.
yeah.
Cheers, man. Good to be up, man. Good to thank you for asking. It's I really
No,
enjoyed the
God,
last one, man. So
oh, thanks for coming. Squirrel did set a high bar. In fairness, um, as Squirrel always does. So,
yeah,
fair play.
for sure, man.
But
For
just
sure.
for just in the off chances somebody in the chat doesn't know who you are, you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Daniel Arias. Primarily and mostly from Embraces Suck 21. My co-host is in the chat, Spencer Joyce Music. We run we do a reaction channel. Mainly react to UK stuff, and on my channel I just react to music, pretty much. You know, that's kind of that's where it is. That's
Right.
there's so many different other things, but we don't have time. If I
Yeah.
start rattling off
Yeah, your
channels,
your your
we're here all
entertainment
day.
network's expanding, so um
Oh God.
so we're just gonna say hello to a few people and then
Yep.
we'll go for question one. So hello Samantha. Absolutely. Samantha's just started going live again. She did her first live in about a
Yes.
year on Tuesday night, which was
It's
fantastic.
awesome.
So hello Alison.
Cheers.
I'll be saying hello. That's Alison from somewhere over in my neck of the woods. So
Yeah.
um we see who else have we got? Mick T's looking forward to this one. So
Always. Yep.
you want to hear some of the
Always.
questions he sent me? I mean, people don't need to know some of the stuff that Mick's asked me to ask you. So, Andy's in the house,
Hey,
Maryland
cheers, Angie.
representative. Yeah.
Maryland
Oh,
represent.
and there's the other half of the dream team.
Yep.
Hello, Spencer. How you
Cheers,
doing?
Spence.
You know,
Oh my goodness.
let's see about who else we have just before we go. There's
Yep.
the big star so far. So
Man
uh,
himself. Mr.
him
3
having himself.
hours.
Hello, squirrel.
Yo.
Oh, and JV's here.
Yo,
And
what's
and
going
yes, you
on?
can't blame JV in this. I only do this shit because JV stopped going live on a
JV.
Friday night, so it's all his fault. Dorito's there, but don't say hello to Dorito. Whiskey woman. Thank you very much.
Hey,
So,
hello,
oh,
hello.
and there's a new
Stephen
name.
C.
Hello, Stephen C.
Cheers,
He
man.
from your channel, is it?
Yeah,
Yep.
we
Thanks
got
for
some.
popping over. So,
Oh man.
and I think that's us for now. So let's kick her off. And like say, just nice, easy fucking questions. You've seen a few of them, so
Yep.
no, there's no gotchas. There's no well, apart from questions about Spencer, but we'll get to those later on. So
We'll
um,
get to those off air.
we'll
No.
get those off. So first question. Oh, sorry, I should say. I'm just gonna take that out again. If anybody's got any questions for Daniel, stick them in the YouTube chat. I'll mark them, and if we have time at the end, we'll ask them at the end. Okay,
There you
nothing
go.
too personal, Mick. Obviously.
Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously.
So question one: what's your favorite YouTube channel?
Oh man. Well, obviously I can't be I'm not gonna be biased. That's obviously easy.
No, well,
Um
yes, but rule out your friends.
yeah,
You
rule out the friends. You know what's I so primarily before I started this YouTube journey, I used YouTube primarily for like the tips and tricks side of stuff and those off the wall kind of
know.
podcasty YouTube channels that just talk about like a lot of history channel, a lot of stuff like that. So right now, the Y files, if you guys know what that is, that is a good one. I do like the
What
Y
is it?
files. The Y files.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just this like dude, just this dude that worked from the bottom and up, and now he has like 2 million subscribers, and it's like really entertaining way of spinning like the conspiracy theory kind of thing. I'm not a conspiracy theory nut, but I do I do tend to I do tend to fall down that uh
I love conspiracy theories. I don't believe most of them.
yeah.
I love them. I think they're
It's
really interesting. So what's your favorite conspiracy theory then? What's the
oh man. Oh my god. I can't and honestly, I'm not gonna go again with I'm not gonna go with the given, which is the moon landing. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Um conspiracy theories.
like
I do like and find the Kennedy assassination one pretty
right?
interesting. Yeah. That's a pretty interesting one that I can definitely sink my teeth into for a long time.
Kennedy.
So yeah, I do like the Kennedy assassination.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's a lot to be said. So I don't know, man. That's my guilty pleasure. That's my guilty pleasure. But yeah,
Right.
I would have to go with that first and foremost.
Yeah, it would be up there for me. I don't know. I think the moon landing one maybe. The moon
Yeah.
landing one might be. It's 'cause- especially because you get all these people that just watch one wee YouTube thing go didn't happen. So they can't get through the Van Allen belt, and the radiation. You know, what about the Moomins? Nobody met the Moomins when they were up there, and all this nonsense. It's just who
Yeah,
knows?
it's pretty crazy, man. It's just it's annoying when there's there's more questions. Like there's never like more answers. So I'm like there. I'm just like okay, fine, fair enough. I could
See,
spend all day and not get anywhere.
yeah.
Like
See, there's a great show here that I know Squirrels looked at it, and you've maybe looked called QI, and
oh yes,
it's by Stephen Fry, and it's obviously it's a reverse of IQ, and it's quite interesting. That's what it's called. And they've done loads of stuff. They've done the moon landing, with David Mitchell from the Peep Show and all, and they go
yeah.
through all the theories on all the conspiracies, and then and they try and go debunk all the things, and it's really really good, So
I bet David Mitchell had a field day with that. I
oh,
bet that was
absolutely.
I bet David Mitchell had one of the funniest episodes with that one. I just feel like you throw a conspiracy theory at David Mitchell, he's gonna rant forever.
Yeah, he's brilliant in QI. It's not as good since Stephen Fry left it, but
Yeah.
Stephen Fry's super smart and articulate, and he's also really funny. He's been in all the Blackadders. I think you've done some of the Blackadders.
Yeah.
Lord Melchett and Blackadder was fourth and all, and
Yeah.
he's brilliant. So, but yeah, so
Conspiracy theories. Oh yeah.
conspiracy theory.
I'm definitely
No,
that's how my mind unplugs, man. That's how I just shut everything else off.
yeah, you have to have something. For some of us, it's football. For
Yeah.
some hockey people, it's sex. For
Yep.
for others, it's whiskey and beer. So
True.
or some
True, man.
combination of the three. So
All at one time.
all at one time.
All at one time, man.
Yeah. Well, it's not. No, I'm not even going to go there. No, it's too early to make a joke about doggy. Right, I'll move on. So, question 2. Um, right. So, what's your favorite British show?
Oh man.
Well, you've done all these British things, and again, I asked Squirrel this because you do so many, British reactions. So,
man, right now, I mean, it's definitely a toss up between, for me, the hardest I think I've laughed was Faulty Towers, and solidly right behind it, if not up there, has to be IT Crowd. Like,
yeah, I think you're only on. You still on series 1, or have you been on the series 2 yet?
Yeah, we actually finished the whole thing. We've actually done the
right,
whole
okay.
yeah, we've done the whole thing with the Christmas special and all. So
Right.
we've left no stone unturned with the IT Crowd, but like that has been the best. The best, like IT Crowd, Faulty Towers, it just wasn't long enough, but it was the perfect length.
Yeah.
It's like the weirdest feeling.
Faulty Towers.
Yeah.
Well, see, a lot of the British shows used to go for 2 series, and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, and Ricky Gervais generally copied that, because the only thing he did one too many of was the last one. Oh God,
what was that?
Oh,
Afterlife or whatever it is.
Afterlife, yes. And the first 2 series were fantastic. The second series in one episode had me crying and laughing at the same time. It was so well done. Such a beautiful story, and it was funny and everything, And it was fantastic. But he went to series too long. But the IT Crowd is great. Although weirdly, it took me. It was years after it was out that I finally went back to watch it. I didn't like the first series.
It starts like every. I feel like it starts like every series, right? Where it builds and people are getting more comfortable and like more defined in their character. So yeah, like every series is kind of different. The second series are always better, you know. There you go, Angie. Yeah. But no, I always like the second series. But when you're only running like a short amount of time, right? Yeah. Every episode counts. So it's tough to like roll into them. Like it's tough to, I don't know. There's a level of, what am I trying to say? Like anticipation. Like they need to hurry up and get to their characters, like execute.
Yeah.
But it's no IT crowd for me, 100%.
Yeah.
Faulty Tower just wasn't.
What about Peep Show?
Peep Show, man. Peep Show is numbing down that cringe. Peep Show has
I
me
love cringy comedy. Love it.
It has me cringing so hard, man. Has me cringing so hard at times. I'm just like, no freaking way. Just like, there's no way they're gonna write that, and it happens. So slowly, I've been beaten down to love the Peep Show, and it's not like I didn't, but I'm just like, okay, they are Murphy's Law. It happens to the both of them.
It's another one that I think got better and better. The first, do you know what got the very end of the first episode where he got off the bus. He didn't think Sophie was looking, and the wee kids were annoyed. And we just had enough of him. Yeah, he chased him down the street like a lunatic. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna really like this, and it just got and all this daft stuff like the him and Mark, or Mark and when the other characters see me with names. And they're walking, they're lost, and they're starting to panic. And Mark goes, "It's okay, I've still got my emergency Twix. See that you always carry the emergency bar chocolate that's inside pocket." I'm like, "Oh, it's fantastic."
That was awesome. That was great. I like that. No, that's so that show. It just, and that's one of the longer ones. We're still on that.
Yeah,
we're still on that. I think if Spence is still in the chat, I think we just got past the halfway part of the whole series. So, but no, Peep Show is just cringe. And I've learned to love it. Before I've had to look at it through that filter of that comedy from across the pond. And it's pretty awesome, but it's very cringe for me still.
Well, see, the cringy stuff's good. Well, and saying that, I mean, you say you're not, cringy stuff, but I've watched you reviewing the In-Betweeners, and it's nothing if not cringy.
Yeah, In-Betweeners, man. That's a different level. Here's the thing is why I cringe is because it's too relatable. It's like, oh man, you just feel it, and you're just like, damn. The IT crowd, I feel like I'm laughing, like, just more with the whole situations that they get into in that show.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry, I will move on in a wee second. But just the cringy thing. The first time, have you watched the original, the British version of The Office?
I haven't.
Right.
I haven't.
It's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
And there's Spencer saying you've just finished series 5.
Yep.
The original, the first time I stumbled across The Office, I thought it was a documentary, and I'm looking, going, what is this wanker doing? It's so close to the truth, and then you start to realize, right, okay, it is.
Like, but makes you do a double take.
Yeah, but it's so close to being, like a real. I've worked in an office 30 years, and I'm going, I know I work with somebody like that. I work with somebody like that, and that's what it is. And then again, he did two 6-part series. Yeah. And then he finished with a 2-part Christmas special, which was phenomenal. It's a brilliant one if you haven't done it. I suppose it's BBC, so you might struggle to get that one through. You know what I mean?
And then how long was the US version of The Office? How many seasons was that?
Oh God, it was on 7 or 8.
6? Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to hate the American one because the Americans normally fuck up British shows.
Yeah.
I mean, the Americans tried the In-Betweeners, they tried Faulty Towers, they tried all sorts.
Yeah.
and our humor doesn't
Oh,
necessarily translate.
they
But the
they
American one, I watched him and I this better suck. I don't want to watch this, and
man,
I loved it. I've watched it. I actually rewatched it all about 2 months ago. I love the thing. It's one of my all time favorites.
it's very bingeable. Very bingeable. It's the American Office is very bingeable. Like you could just rewatch and have that thing on repeat, and you'll never run out. It's like one of those things that you can just always hit random and be okay with.
Absolutely, because it keeps popping up in my YouTube, shorts. You're sitting flicking through
Yeah.
them, usually on the toilet. Let's face it, that's where most of us
Yeah,
do it.
pretty
Um,
much.
but it's it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
just brilliant. I didn't realize till recently I think what helped was so many of the guys. John Krasinski loved the original one, so the first episode of it is a direct copy of the first of the British, and then after
Okay.
went away. But I saw a thing recently where he was talking about when he had the audition for it because he wasn't a star at that point,
Hmm.
and he was sitting in the interview room and he was talking to some guy and he says, "Look, I really hope we don't fuck this up." He says, "I love the original so much, and normally we fuck these things up." And the guy, but 20 minutes later he gets called in. He goes in and sits down. The guy he was talking to was the director, and all the crew just look at it. It's just the guy said you're gonna fuck it up, and he went, "Yep, that's him." Um, and and he went, "Trust me, we won't." And and that's. Uh, I
That's
think
how
it helped that so many people are invested because they love the original, so
and
it helped.
and
So
that's and that's the crazy thing is because there was a need. You know, the UK office was only around what 2 seasons and a special.
yep,
You know,
two
so there
Christmas.
was that need, and that's what I've figured out. You know, looking at these short series is like they leave on a high note. They leave on a high
Yeah,
note, and there's still that want and that it leaves a void. It's never like we got it all.
you
You
see,
know.
the only thing I'll say, I remember watching Stephen Fry talk about the difference between American and British comedy, and he says if you watch the end of the British Office, there's a bit of a happy ending, but they're not all running the country, and they're not all running the company, and
Yeah.
they don't all fall in love and all this. But the end of an American stuff, everything always works out for somebody. The end of the
Oh,
American
that's it.
Office, Jim had his dream job, the two kids, Dwight got his dream job. It's the American comedy's always trying to wrap up on a happy ending. Fucking Big Bang Theory, ended up with him getting a bloody Nobel Prize and all the rest of it,
Yeah.
and with the British, we don't. It's a cultural thing. I think we always aspired to do well, but it's like, well, it didn't happen, and it comes across. Stephen Fry does a great bit about it, just a wee 5 minute thing, and
Yeah.
that's twice I've mentioned Stephen Fry
When
already, but he's funny and he's so
and he
um
but I know because I think I'm very familiar. I think we reacted to that clip. It's like 5 minutes.
yes,
And
it's just an interview him and
yep.
yeah, and he
And
talks about
he broke it down pretty well.
the American star has to be the guy with the biggest dick and gets the girl and all that there. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, fair play. So right, question 3 then.
Yeah. Three. Yeah.
Yeah, what has been
Oh,
the best experience of your life?
oh my God. The best experience of my life. There's so many. I mean, let's remove the obvious ones like birth of a child, getting married, stuff like that. Let's go stuff that's not there, right? I would say honestly, surprise, and this is going to be kind of crazy. Having a surprise success doing something that's not the trade I grew up in. You know, like the YouTube thing has opened a
I
lot
could,
of doors, and I never set out to do that. We never
right, I
set
could.
out
You're a chippy by trade, aren't you?
pretty much
Yeah,
carpenter, right?
yeah,
Chippy, yeah. There you go. I have to. I'm like, my translating thing is
yeah.
not is that cool? But yes, but and not even by trade, by birth, and
Right.
and it's nice. It's nice to do something other than swing hammers
What do you mean by birth? Was your father a tradesman?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So it was funny because my father was like, you know, don't do this for the rest of your life. Don't do this. Don't do what I'm doing. Well, guess who his cheap labor that he could afford was? Me. So I started learning, and then, you know, he looks at me, you should have been a doctor. Well, you should have not taken me out of school to help you, you know. So yeah, but
Yeah. So
that's probably been one of the best experiences, seeing that, having a lot of times when you chase your dreams, a lot of times it falls flat on its face, you know. And it was very surprising, and it was really nice to have this path open, and I'm doing it with one of my buddies, Spence, who's right there, and it's a great feeling to not hate where you're working.
is that the diplomatic answer? Because Spencer's watching and your wife isn't.
Oh no, wife's probably listening to me. My walls aren't that thick. Remember, I live in the U.S. where our walls are like a sheet of paper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least you learned. So the only thing I learned from my father was sarcasm and how to drink. You know,
yeah,
so
it's pretty much the cornerstones of being us, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, and have everybody else. You can see everybody else so far is trying to hedge it. You know, I have to say the kids. I have to say the wife. I have to say the kids. You know, and which is fine if that's what it is, because you know I've never bred, so you know what the fuck do I know?
Hey, it's all right, man.
But
I mean, it's like the given, right? It's like it is like the best experience of my life is becoming a father. That grounded me, dude. That grounded
yeah.
me. Holy
No, I
crap.
get it. I get it. I mean, it's weird. I've only one nephew. Haven't seen him in about 10 years, 12 years. But I got emotional the day I held him in the hospital. You know, and he wasn't even mine. And you know, so it was weird. So I'm sure it'll be, you know, different if you have your own. But
oh yeah,
thankfully that's something that never happened for me. So anyway.
There you go, man. There
Right.
you go.
So
Pretty much
moving swiftly along then.
Yay, crushing them.
What would you trade for fame and fortune?
What would I trade for fame and fortune? That's a good question there, Captain.
Thanks
That's
very
a
much.
good
I'll work hard at
question.
this.
Man, what would I trade? Probably I don't know. Like tangible, monetary. Like, what would I trade? Like, what would?
Whatever. Would you sacrifice Spencer on an altar for?
Well, how much fame and fortune could I set up a trust fund in his name?
Yeah.
Create a scholarship, a Spencer Joyce Music Scholarship in his name. You know, with the fortune. No.
Yeah, we sacrificed Spencer on an altar, but we sponsored a park bench in his name. So.
That's the most annoying thing. Just on a side note, you go to a park and you see a bench like in memory, and it's like the shittiest park, and you're like, really? Yeah. This is where their legacy dies? It's just for a homeless guy to sleep on?
I know.
Like, oh man.
I know. And you didn't like it that much. You could have put a nice bench in, not the cheapest one they had. You know.
It'll be a nice bench. Don't worry.
Yeah.
A double tiered bench. But I don't know, man. Probably fame and fortune. I don't know, man. It just never been that important to me. Never had it. Don't know what it feels like. Is it even worth trading for? Kind of thing.
But the fame wouldn't interest me. Fortune, yeah, because fortune gives you the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. You want to be. I mean, Joe Rogan talks about having fuck you money.
Yeah.
You know, which why I didn't care when people are trying to, you know, cancel me. Well, fuck you. I just, you know, Spotify just bought me for 500 million. You know, so yeah, I'll retire tomorrow, and my, you know, his house is
my
house, the fucking compound.
Money. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's fuck you money, and that would be nice. Like you said, it would open all the doors, and if it didn't open doors, you could buy the building the doors are in.
Absolutely.
So that's.
I've never heard it like that, actually.
Yeah. So I dig that. I don't know, man. What I would trade for fortune, I really don't know. I mean, I don't have anything to trade with. I'll put it that way. Like I don't have anything to trade with, so Hey, if it's given, I'll take it. But the trade, you're getting that's a shitty trade. Soul, maybe that's been abused. Like,
Yeah, well, I suppose that's
no.
and that one's been done. So having loads of people met at the devil at the crossroads and sold their soul.
I just saw a short about that, man. I forgot what his name was. It was just it popped up on my reels about this dude from the South sold his soul, and then he died at like 27. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I will. It is something I've, truth be told, because I'm still fighting this thing about not being a YouTuber. But when I was doing music shorts and JV was helping me out and stuff, I was going to do one on the 27 Club.
Yep.
There's so
Yep.
many died at that age, and
Yep.
I was thinking about it. Just Robert Johnson or
Yeah,
Spencer.
that's it.
Spencer really does know his music.
Yep. There you go. That's him.
And you said you carry him, but he knows his stuff. So. No.
Definitely not. We're in the same broken cart, and I love it.
Yeah.
That would be an ecumenical matter.
That'd be an ecumenical matter. Yeah. No, and funny enough, I did see somebody saying that in your chat the other day, and you laughed. I think that's a crucial thing for comedy. Stuff has to make it into the culture. For it to be, because yes, there's flavor of the month comedies, and you haha, you laugh, but when you get certain things, that the stuff in the young ones that we still say in the young ones is 40 odd years old. You know what I mean? And the IT crowd, and I mean, JV's in the chat. I mean, he works in IT. And he laughs at it, but the IT guys in our place hate you saying if you try to turn it off and on again. They hate when you say it. Just glare at you. But it's true and it's funny. So
it's something that's like you said, it surpasses that flavor of the week and becomes ingrained in culture, and that's what I love about the channel we do, Embrace the Stuck 21. It's like, what better way to tap into culture than getting into the comedies, into the stuff that really defines generations. You know what I mean? Like I really dig the way we've approached it all. It's taught us how to have thick skin real quick. That's for damn sure.
Oh well, yeah, you definitely, especially if you're having Brits in the chat.
Yeah.
It's just because we pop out of the womb and start taking the piss. It's just
yeah.
It's just part of our nature. It doesn't mean that we're just to be called you cunt doesn't mean we think you're an actual cunt. It's just us being us.
There was, if I can reference this, there was a scene in the Peep Show where oh my god, his ex-wife, or his whatever, he's divorcing, Mark's wife, right, was passing her in the hallway and didn't even say anything, right? Didn't even like take the piss out of him, didn't even do that. And I'm like, that's when you know they don't like you.
Yeah.
That's when you know they don't like you, is when they can just pass you without anything sarcastic, cynical, or just saying anything. That's when you know. When you know and I felt that. I was like, oh, that's different. That's a different feeling, because that's what it is. It's like this. I feel like when we talk to each other, wherever we've crossed paths, captains, like when we take the piss, it's just like an endearing thing. It's like, yeah, I know you're not trying to come at me, dude. Like it doesn't exist,
It's funny enough. I mean, I don't want to go all serious, but I remember listening to Jordan Peterson talk about it, and he said that when he was young and he had to work on a building site, him and some other fella started the same day, but the other fella turned up with like a proper lunch pail, and it just looked like his mum had made his lunch and all the rest of it. And the boys took the piss out of him all day over it, and he didn't come back the next day, where they took the piss out of him for other stuff. And he says, but that's how guys feel each other out. That's how they gauge somebody, and can he take it? Will he be one of the boys? Can we have fun with this guy? Will we get along? Is he going to be butthurt when we tell a joke that's off color, or because sometimes, Jesus, we all do it, because sometimes there's stuff in here that you think's funny and you type it out or you say it, and we just look at you like, okay, maybe I completely misread the room,
Man. Dude, I absolutely love the text. That has caused so many arguments.
Absolutely.
Oh man, oh dude, it's just so crazy. Like, add the smiley face, add the LOL. I mean, you shouldn't, but you definitely do. You definitely
But
need
see,
to, man.
I
Because
did it earlier. I was working today, but I was watching your premiere about the Beatles thing,
yeah,
and I put my normal thing in it.
yeah,
Yeah, the Beatles suck, Queen rock, but I forgot that it wasn't. You know, if it had been you, if it had been ours, the nations one, you and everyone
yeah.
else would have known. That's just. But I didn't put a smiley face at the end of it. Didn't put anything, and you'd somebody right away went, "Well, you shouldn't fucking be here," you know. And what are you watching for? And I had to actually type it. You know, I'm joking. It's an in joke, and you
Oh
know,
man,
and then
yeah.
because Spencer said something about he put a comment. Yeah, that's where something along the lines. That's where emojis convey a lot. That he's right, but it was because
It's
it was a different crowd.
it's
You know,
yeah. Embrace the Suck 21 gets a lot of different people from all over the place, man.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
the comment section sometimes on Embrace the Suck is like what I feel like a schizophrenic's mind is. Um, but yeah, pretty much, man. And I see everyone. Cheers, Av. What it do, man? What it do?
Yeah, I
Um,
am marking questions for later on, so I'll have a look at them. So I'm
gotcha.
not ignoring the chat. I'm just trying to not be a
Yeah,
dick when I put somebody up. So I am looking at them and I'm trying to mark stuff out. So um, okay, so
but as far as I don't know. I don't have anything to trade for Fortune.
okay,
You
yeah,
know?
fair play. Well, I mean, maybe you're happy with a lot. You know, I mean, you have a good
Yeah.
channel, you have good friends. You know,
I'm
okay, Spencer moved away, which sucks because long distance friendships are fucking are
work. You know, but
Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest. This thing's allowed me to make friends. So I've now got. There's something I never thought I would say is no self-respecting Brit should admit to having American friends, but I've made good American friends through this medium. But I'd
he's
say that
like,
Joey, yeah, I mean Joey come over and he visited and all the rest of it, and but I'd say to him I might never meet some of the other people in real life, which is a shame.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
but so I get the you know having people move away, but life happens.
yeah.
Life
This
always
is
gets
very
in the way
true,
of your
man.
plan. So,
Very true,
but
man.
right. So this is a question about not really about Spencer, but his name's in it. So,
Okay,
um,
let's do it.
okay. Outside of Spencer, who would you most like to work with? So we're not saying
Outside of
you're dumping him or
Spencer,
anything, but just
like in
uh,
life,
uh,
like in just in general, I can pick anyone.
anywhere. It could be another YouTube, guy. It could be somebody in your family. It could be somebody you fancy the knickers off. It could be,
Oh man, let me see. Someone I would enjoy working with. Ooh, who who played Roy in the IT crowd?
oh, Roy's the Irish guy.
Yeah, I
I can't
like.
remember. I can't
I've
remember his name.
I've loved his sense of humor on everything he's done,
Yeah,
and I think I could definitely work with that dude. That
he,
dude just sounds cool.
he's a big
He is
Liverpool
cool.
fan.
Yeah.
So he's a big Liverpool fan,
Well,
and
damn.
that's one of the only things I know about him, to be honest. But yeah, he's funny in that. I've seen him in a few things, So I know Richard. Richard Iowati plays the same thing in everything, and I find that
Yeah.
off-putting. You
Yeah.
know,
Chris
I
O'Dowd. There you go. Yep.
Chris O'Dowd,
Um.
yes.
No, because I saw what was it? He did a movie over here with Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn.
Oh,
Is
that was a
it
good film,
Neighborhood
the
Watch?
Neighborhood Watch. Yes, that was very funny.
Yeah, it
That was
was.
surprisingly funny.
That, but he was the same, like you said, he's the same character.
Yeah,
It's a funny movie,
yeah.
but
E-
it is Moss. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
even when you see him on, the Big Fat Quiz of the Year or QI or 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown, he's the same person, he's the same character. I just think it was funny in the IT crowd, but yeah, bored now. Move
Yeah.
move on, do something different. So, but yeah, um, it's a weird one.
But
So
that's a very big question though. Who would you like ever, man? That's huge. You know, like I would always go for a comedian. I would work with a comedian. I think that's what I would love to. Someone that is just inherently always funny. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
even though the comedians are some of the most haunted people out there. Um, but yeah, I would probably work with definitely a comedian, any kind of comedian. I'd be
But
out there with them.
but I suppose you have to get the chemistry right as well. You can't just randomly pick somebody,
Yeah.
because I mean, you and Spencer click. I know
Oh
because
yeah.
you're real world friends, which helps. And I also think you're slightly different. Um, I think you laugh more from your gut, you
Yeah.
know,
It's
and
all. It's always my
Spencer
gut's
thinks
always
things,
moving.
yeah, and Spencer thinks things through more,
Yeah.
So there's that complimentary thing, I think, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but so
I I'll tell
if the
you
two
what.
of
I'll be the first one to get any kind of. I'll have to apologize publicly before Spencer does.
you,
I'll put it that way.
yeah. But
Uh,
no, I mean it works, and that's the thing. I mean, if you two were exactly the same, it would just be dull.
yeah. Yeah, it
You
really
know,
would.
when you look at all the great duos like Morecambe and Wise, the two Ronnies, they're different characters and they
Yeah.
play well together.
You
So
gotta have complementary. Is it complementary faults? Like one strength is
yeah,
is is someone else's weakness, and it's like we're both we both complement each other. Like we put us both together, you get one normal human.
Spencer, I think what he's trying to say is you complete him. That's what it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
you complete me, Spencer.
Yes.
Uh,
So talking about comedians, so you said it would be a comedian if you were going to work with anybody. Then, so
yes.
who's the best comedian of all time?
Oh man, what a question! What a question, man. The best comedian of all time. And I want to have to say for me. I want to have to
Oh,
say for me
it, it,
because this is
all
one of
art,
those.
yeah,
This is one of those like who's your
all
favorite
art
band?
form, all art forms should be subjective.
Yeah,
I like this music, you don't. I like this, play, you don't. I like this movie, I like this comedian. So it's what you think.
I think for me one of the funniest comedians is Anthony Jeselnik.
Right?
All right. Just because remember I've been rocking with him for a long time. And he was fresh when he came out. When he came out, he's built that rapport with me. He was the only one that did the darker side of things.
Right.
I mean, I'm not touching the greats, and I think Spence will attest to this. Just because you are a legend doesn't necessarily mean I must like you. I will respect you as a legend. I will respect you as someone that's up there. Like you have your Carlins, Pryors, Chappelle's, Murphys. You have them. You know,
Yeah.
um, I do love Bill Burr. Absolutely love Bill Burr. His no shit, just give it all. But I do like the comedians that will go for it. Like Anthony Jeselnik is like, is that funny or isn't it funny? Ones that will, am I gonna have a job tomorrow or am I not?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like
Oh,
you
absolutely.
need to. Um, yeah, pretty much.
But
But
I agree completely because I tend to reject. See, if everybody turns over to me and says you've got to listen to this band, they're the greatest, I'll not like them.
yeah,
I have to stumble on the stuff myself.
yeah,
And I mean, I only really get into Pink Floyd in a big way. Maybe 20 years ago, and I'm
hmm
just touching 50 now, and Zeppelin even after that, because I mean, there were certain songs I liked, but I never would have considered them the greatest, because everybody went, "You've got to love Pink Floyd,
yeah.
you've got to love, this," and I'm like, yeah, fuck you,
And
I'll not do
that's
it.
and I was 100% honest today. Like that was my view, my take on the Beatles.
Yeah,
Like because they were the best, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to bother with the best. If they're the best, keep them there. Like I'm going to find my
yeah,
own path and my own journey. So I never really dove into it.
yeah. Because I mean,
If
one of the best examples I give, and I know you guys, went down the rabbit hole, as you like to say, with them was Oasis. I hated Oasis when they came out. They were massive here, and I just saw two cocky, arrogant wankers, And then I finally heard "Live Forever" because it was like the third single, and
Yeah.
they were massive, or big deal here. And then I'm like, okay, I like this song, And then I bought Definitely Maybe, and it'd be one of my three Desert Island discs. It's still one of my favorite albums of all time. But I
Man.
hated them with a passion for ages,
Yeah.
And
that's how it is.
yeah,
That's how it is. That's all it takes.
Yeah,
That's all it takes.
And they were so big. They were the first band that I was into that was actually popular when it was out. And you used to go into the bars in Belfast, and you'd go in to eat, and everybody should, like me, I worked all week, went into the pub on Friday night, put money in the jukebox, and stuck Wonderwall on or whatever, and you could see all the bar staff going, not again, because everybody just gets in from work and goes, right, stick Blur on, stick Oasis, and they hear them.
Man, and over here too, if you worked retail, that's all you would hear. You would hear Champagne Supernova, and you would hear Wonderwall to death. Yeah. And then you would need a drink, or you need to drink. You go to the bar, and guess what you would hear there? Same fucking thing. It's like, I worked with this, and I have to hear this. Like, I just need to get away from it. So I'm with you. And that's, that's the whole the way we started is because I hadn't heard the other song. I didn't know they had another song.
Yeah, and ironically, their big, obviously, What's the Story was their biggest commercial success.
Yeah.
But even if you ask Noel now, Noel will tell you Definitely Maybe it's a better album. And in my very humble opinion, I think he's right. It's my favorite of them all. But it's just an example of a band that everybody went, you've got to like Oasis, you've got to like Oasis, you got it. No, I don't. Fuck them.
It's you got to find them organically, because then you're open. You're ready to be receptive. Yeah. It's on your own terms. It's not like you just got statutory music. You're like, no. I'm doing this on my consent. We're listening to this song, so it's different.
Yeah, because it's. If you're just listening to stuff because it's popular, then you'll end up with a music collection of fucking Lady Gaga and Lizzo. Who the fuck wants to listen to Lady Gaga or Lizzo? You know what I mean? It's just,
I mean, there has to be some, one or two, right?
Yeah,
there has to be some of those.
Cheap and idiots. It's like, Taylor Swift's just had a massive re-release of an album she laid out. Yeah, yes, you'd love to bang a life out of her. But you know what I mean? Even if you were taking on a date, you'd still put somebody else's music on. You know what I mean?
You would.
Fuck, it's
a good way to do it. Yeah. Oh God, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
it's so funny. I never even thought of it like that. That's so funny. You take Taylor Swift on a date, you're definitely not listening to Taylor Swift.
No, really not. So, right, a little bit more lighthearted with this one then.
All right.
Are aliens real? And if so, have they visited us?
Oh man, yes.
Yes.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Because I feel like, am I chasing after them? No, I'm not sending my lasers or flashlights up into space looking for them. But I'm like, it's easier to live in a world where it's like, yeah, they do. Prove me wrong, rather than, yeah, aliens exist. I will prove you that they exist. Like, no, everything else, a lot more things make more sense if they exist. It answers a lot of questions, and I can be like, fair enough. F it. I can sleep better.
Yeah, well, you're the first one that said yes. Well, a few said they might exist. My take on it, and this is the fourth time I've answered this myself, I think there has to be aliens out there because there's so many planets in the observable universe. There's millions of planets, hundreds of millions of planets. There has to be aliens out there. Have they visited us? I don't think so, but I do think they're real. So.
Yep. And I mean, it's just like, would it change my day-to-day life if they weren't? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, Stephen Hawking did say that if aliens came here, if they have to get the technology to come here, they're coming to conquer and take our resources.
That would have been hard.
And in fairness, Yeah, maybe it's just somebody's reprogrammed Hawkins before he died or something, or it may
Yeah, the
not be what
new
he was trying to say. But
the new update. He had that update.
yeah,
Oh shit.
or somebody's been playing Independence Day, doing when he's
Ah,
sleeping or something. I don't know, but
oh man.
but, uh, but yeah, he was worried about it, So
Yeah.
um,
I feel like yes and yes, man. I feel like, hey, why not? I think for me personally, it makes more sense if they do, and they have. Like
yeah, fair
it,
play.
I still go to the store and spend way too much on a week's worth of groceries. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm still as confused as everyone else.
yeah.
So,
No, fair play, fair play. Right, okay, number 8. So,
yeah.
what on YouTube disappoints you the most?
Oh my God. Thank God I brought the soapbox. Is everyone ready? I have been waiting for this. No, the thing that bothers me the most on YouTube is how it can be fair for someone to do something. One, like, let's say, I had to speak on
No, let's
the
take it.
like the
No.
reaction, on the reaction side of things, right? How come some channel can get something up, let's say a reaction to something, and the
Yes.
other one does the exact same thing, and guess what? Gets blocked. I hate that. I understand that we're on the YouTube platform and technically we're all subcontractors for this monster that is YouTube. But
Yeah.
and we play by their rules, and their rules can change like the wind. I get that. It's part of being subcontracted by YouTube. I get that. I've worked for shittier companies before, right? But it's very frustrating when one thing can get through for one person and the next channel coming up that won't work. Like that's the big issue I have with it all. Is there's no blanket like yes or no, because
Yeah.
it makes it hard for people to help others. Especially, YouTube, I view YouTube as like a community. We're
Yeah.
here to help others and give tips and tricks to those that can apply them or that are applicable to their own journey on YouTube, whatever the content is they choose to have on their channel. But it's impossible because what works for them won't necessarily work for you. And that's the frustrating thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
I mean, I only see it because I don't do reactions and stuff,
yeah.
because I'm not a YouTuber. Um, but yeah, it's the arbitrary application of the rules. Just I
Yeah.
see it because I mean um the reactions are weird because you know I've seen you do stuff and then Squirrel get blocked on it and vice versa. Or EB gets something through and nobody else does, and it's the weirdest thing. It's just how come one person can do it and get it through almost unobstructed, but but the next one then can't do it. It's stupid. I mean,
It's yeah.
my take on it would be okay if it's copyright. You know, don't pay them for putting it out. Take the money from it, but let them publish it.
Yeah.
Would be
Yeah.
my take because I know a lot of stuff. You don't care we can pay it for everything.
No.
You know,
No.
get it out there and and let Zeppelin take the money for it, or the Eagles or whoever.
Yeah, but I think 99% of the content creators would be okay with that. It's this block thing. And what happens is if it's not like a blanket yes no get through, then it leads way for favoritism and or agenda pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
who are you to say? Who are you to say
Only
if there's
be.
like if I try to upload this video and it's a no, then it's a no for everyone. And then you
Yeah,
have people that are just trying to get a video that they love out, and they have to jump through hoops and ladders and editing and flipping and blurring, and it just makes everyone's life hell for you to have 5 minutes of enjoyment
yeah,
with them. And
absolutely.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cheers, EB. What it do, man?
Well, I tell you my current pet peeve with YouTube. Apart from all the wankers on it, so we'll take that as a given. Um,
Yeah.
is how overly sensitive the algorithm is. If you accidentally watch something, you're tortured for fucking weeks
Weeks.
on it, and or even because what it means is now I'm really reluctant to try and watch something new
Yep.
because okay, wait, so that there's something new, somebody I don't know, even on YouTube Shorts, I'll have a look and it's only 50 at most 59 seconds, but then you're
Yep.
tortured. Every other thing pops up
Is
on it,
that
and you know it takes forever to get rid of them, and you just get tortured for weeks. And to me, it's detrimental because it means somebody won't try something new because they're
yeah.
afraid of getting buried in wine tasting videos because you watched one because the girl was hot, and all of a sudden every other video is about wine tasting,
Huh?
and it's like. And most of them aren't as hot as the blonde chick in the first one, it's
Yeah. It,
and
it's crazy though, because when I got this platform that we're on, that everyone can see StreamYard, I had nonstop promotions and ads from StreamYard.
yeah,
Blew my
absolutely.
mind. I don't
And
care about Dana from fucking StreamYard. I'll say it
and
first.
this idiot here, right? The legend. He one night he got me to look up. There's this talentless fucking cunt whore bitch called Brit Barbie, and he made me. And he was laughing. He said, "You've got to look this thing up." And I looked it up, and she's this. I'm gonna say rapper, with this white rapper with big tacky nails and all, no talent, no. And I watched that one because Blake says you've got to. I get tortured for weeks. She's millions of subscribers and all, and I watched it once just because he said, "Wait do you see what this loser does," and I got tortured for ages on
Yep.
it. So and
Yep.
the algorithm, it's way too sensitive, So
It's odd, man. Like creating the different channels that I have, I get this odd chance, this weird breath of fresh air that I haven't subbed to anyone. I haven't checked anything out. It's a brand new channel. And I
yeah,
love to see that first page, what it puts out in front of you. And it's literally everything. It's everything you could ever fall down. And I'm like, I don't want to click on anything on this channel because it's so refreshing not to have any sort of algorithm out there. It's just nice. It's very nice because I mean, my YouTube is it used to lead me down into metal detecting. Like what the fuck? Like
right,
I
okay.
would spit me out at the other end of the night, and I'd be like, why am I looking at a guy from the UK metal detecting in Germany? Like, what am I doing with my life?
Oh, the guy, the magnet fishing, the guys that go in and find
Yeah,
guns and grenades and all.
yeah.
When you first watch one, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But then all of a sudden, it's all you see for weeks,
That's all you see.
yeah, and I think it's bad for YouTube. I understand the theory is he liked that. Let's show him more that he might like. But the
Yep.
problem is, it means you're afraid. I don't watch stuff now. Don't
Because
take a chance on stuff that I don't know, and that doesn't help new channels or you discover something different. So
yeah, YouTube is too quick compartmentalizing itself. It's like,
yeah,
I know this person. I know what he wants. Well, guess what we're surrounding him with? He's going to
yeah,
become one-dimensional on YouTube.
yeah. So how do you find something different? That's the thing.
Don't they have
Um,
like a private browser on YouTube? Don't they have that?
oh, possibly, but I mean, to
But
me,
that's
that's what
too
the
much
like
work
button was
anyway.
for. It's even if you hit the like button,
Yeah.
right? He liked watching videos about weird life, like sex dolls.
Yeah.
So we'll show him more of those. But it's
I'm also not a fan that they removed the unlike button. I'm not a fan
yeah,
of that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. I'm
yeah.
not I just I don't know, man. I'm not I just don't like that because then it gives people ego boosts that don't need ego boosts.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
Um,
that's
although now that I'm
yeah.
putting some content out, I don't think a dislike button would be my friend at this point. So, um, maybe some of us are better that it's not there. So,
No,
um,
okay, fair enough, fair enough.
yeah. So,
But no, that's for YouTube. That's pretty much it, man. It's
yeah.
just
Okay.
it's one of those things.
Okay. So, question 9: Who's your hero and why?
Oh my god, man. My hero. My hero. Let me see. I might have to go completely um old school. I might have to go old school. My One of my heroes, and this changes on the daily. So let's just spin this bottle and see where it stops. Uh I personally I love uh Tim Allen, believe it or not. I like that he
Right.
got busted for cocaine, like big time busted for cocaine movement.
I for selling cocaine,
For
not just doing it.
selling. No,
Yeah.
not for doing it, for
Uh,
selling it. This man was the mule, and then he just completely changed and elevated, and was the dude's dude, and he stayed that way all throughout his career. I like that. I like that story of success, because he's not. Would you call Tim Allen A-list? No, no, he's just
Not now, but
not now.
for a while, yeah.
Ah,
He's
yeah,
still relevant. He still does stuff.
yeah.
He's still out there, and
And I like that. I like that someone that got hemmed up that bad had a very, 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 um, very, I guess, troubled past. You know, could go into some place and destroy it. And kill the game, and become a voice of one of the freaking toys that we all know. He's
yeah.
Buzz Lightyear. Like, that's
I know.
great.
I'll be honest. It's not an answer I expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody normally goes Gandhi or fucking,
No.
or Hendrix or something. I didn't expect him on it, but I have to admit I've come to respect him. I'm not a massive fan of his work. I love some of his stuff.
Yeah.
But I love the fact he's one of the very few Hollywood stars that's prepared to give an actual honest opinion about stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of stars telling the world what they're doing right or wrong, but he's one of the ones that is prepared to, he's a conservative guy and he's prepared to say it. And very few conservative people in the media are
Yeah.
prepared to stick their head up and say it. But well,
Yeah.
I did think of this when I wrote that question earlier because that's a new one for me.
Okay.
Um, Mine changes from time to time, right? So, from a football point of view, it'd be Kenny Dalglish,
Okay.
best player ever played for Liverpool. One of the best players in the world. If he had been English or Brazilian rather than Scottish, he'd have been right up there, but in discussions with the rest of it. At the minute, and you might have read about this one. There's an old Australian couple, and they worked out that it was cheaper to pay for cruises than going to a retirement home. So they booked 50 cruises in a row and lived on a cruise liner for about two
That's
years on
hacking
these
the
cruises.
system. That's hacking the system. Like, what? I love that, dude. That's one of the best stories I saw. I think it was a short. Dude.
Yep,
Yeah. And I was like, no way. There's no way that's right.
yep.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
Um,
I just thought it was fantastic. It's a sad indictment of the world we live in that old
and
people
it
can't
really
afford to
is.
live. But
It
for
really
them guys,
is.
just worked out. Fuck it. There's a big
Yeah.
boat. They'll cook for us. They'll clean for us. They'll do all their stuff.
It's
Let's go live
crazy.
there. Okay then.
Brilliant. That's
Well,
brilliant. I hope you can only pack 2 suitcases.
I
You know what
know.
I
And,
mean?
and truth be told, these days with the advent of remote working, I'm looking into it to see if I could do it for a while.
That would be
Um,
crazy.
yeah,
Because I feel like that whole like work from home thing is just
yeah.
like brilliant.
Yeah,
It's,
I
it's
do a bit of
great.
both. I suppose what's the term these days? Hybrid. I'm in the office 3 days a week and work from home. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's it's
That's a listen, way to play the system. I like that. I like that.
yeah.
That's a big
No, I like
that's
that
a
a lot.
chess
So
move. That's a chess move, man.
okay.
I
So
applaud that dude. Oh
question
man.
10:
Yeah.
Does God exist and does He love you?
Mm. Well, I personally I would say my personal beliefs would be yes. Yes and yes. Because I am in no right supposed to be here, and I feel like I feel blessed, and I feel like they're not blessings that have come into my life aren't from my works. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I've been very fortunate, but also I feel like my belief has come from the darker side of things. You know, I was raised as a Christian, in my well raised parents, both parents, devout Christians, and I guess I pushed back, and after living a life I've lived, I saw you know, you see evil, and then if you see pure evil in the world, then you know that there has to be good. And so that's my coin analogy. If there's a tails, there's a heads. So if I know something is evil, then there must be something good. And I just based my whole rationalization. Is that a word? If I say it
Yeah.
faster, does it make it more of a word?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Behind that, I feel like I saw evil, I knew it was evil, and then that clicked the switch to be like, okay, there has to be a God. And I've had many near death experiences
Right.
for there not to be one. And yeah, that. I feel like love is an interesting word because love and hate go hand in hand. There are times where I
Yeah.
believe someone, if he is up there, he's looking down and be like, oh, not today, not today, you know. And
Okay.
I would like to think that,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I haven't had anybody on yet that said no, apart from me.
yeah.
Because
Well,
my answer would be no and no. Because if he does exist, he hates me, and I don't think he exists. So,
it should be. Does God exist, and what do you think he thinks about you?
yeah. Well,
But
it's nearly the same question, but yeah, there's no need. There's no need to wreck my show. We're only halfway through. Your questions suck. That's
no, it's good, man. It's good. You know, it's always good. I feel like you got to have that question in the mix. You got to have that question, man.
I
It's I
think
don't
so.
know whether people shy away from it or um or lean into it. It could throw the whole thing one way or the other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I'm not about to be on. It's not to be on the Christian Broadcasting Network. It's up there.
No,
Did you
no.
see? Did you see Daniel's sermon like on Captain's show? Like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Sorry,
Uh,
nobody will see this anyway. Nobody watches this. You'll be all right.
oh man. How about this? I believe, um, I believe in for myself, but I'm not one of those that will ever like preach to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like that's mine. I'll keep it with me and in my household. But what you do is what you do, and I respect everything you do. We're co-humans on this rock. Let's see where we
Yeah.
go.
Well, see, I think that's fair enough because I've no problem with people's individual faith. I don't agree with it, but each to their own.
Yeah.
It's the religions that get me. It's the organizations. It's where the rules come in and the dictating what you
Yeah.
can. I mean, I always say take it away from any one religion, but somebody says, look, the tree at the end of your street's sacred. I'm going to worship it. That, right? Okay, you do what you want. Leave me alone. As soon as they start saying, well, you can't walk past that tree on a Tuesday because I
Without
think
without
Tuesdays.
giving me money, then yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that
yeah.
that's where it starts to really get me. So
Yeah.
people can believe whatever fucked up nonsense they want. Each to their own.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
fine with
actually
it.
think religion. I've said this. Religion has had a net positive, I suppose, but it's also been the religions, not the faiths, have been responsible for all sorts of evil over the years, and are at the minute still. And it's a
Yeah.
shame. So
Well, I feel like if you boil down to it, religion is would be made by man, and man is fallible, and because of that, religion is
but made in
fallible.
God's image,
What?
and God's ultimately responsible for everything. If you believe this,
Yeah, yeah, but still, man, I don't know, man. Anything that people touch sucks. Like, anything
oh,
that people have anywhere where there's a manager's office and a higher management sucks.
yeah. But then again,
Man.
if the big man's there and he's responsible for everything, then he shouldn't have let us fuck things up, you
Yeah.
know. So, but anyway,
That's yeah.
we're at the
When I hit,
halfway mark. Okay,
yeah.
so
All
at
right.
this point, I traditionally I have a word from our unofficial sponsor. It's
Oh,
that time of the
very
night, you
nice.
know, so
Yeah.
where I'm going to have a drink. So,
Oh, there you go,
um, and at some point, I really am hoping Bushmill send me a free bottle of whiskey. You
dude.
know,
Keep shooting at it. Keep shooting at that.
I can't
Dude,
see it happening, especially because I just bought another 3 bottles. But that's another story. I don't have a drink problem. It's
just
you
just keep tagging them in the description, and just keep connecting them.
know, I
Just
suppose that's an idea.
yeah,
Now, in
just
fairness,
keep sending it at
I
them.
don't apart outside of a couple of my, well, not that I have that many friends, but a couple of people that are very close to me. I don't. Nobody in my work or anything knows I do this, unless somebody stumbles across this. You know, I haven't told anybody that I ever appear on YouTube or do anything like
Yeah,
this. You know,
probably smart.
yeah,
Probably
I,
smart, man.
I never make, you know, I've never said to anybody here, I'm doing this thing on Friday night, you know, um, because I don't really want to, because I'm only doing this
Yeah,
for fun. You know what I mean? It's not a career change for me. It's just something I'm just doing for a bit of crack. So, anyway,
dude.
cheers.
Well, hey, cheers. I only have this. I have Red Bull. So
That'll
cheers.
do. That'll do. No. Okay, so question
All
11
right.
then. Bit more, you know, lighthearted. If you
All
could
right.
pick one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, probably super strength. Probably like Hulk level strength. Just something so ridiculous, so unnecessary. I would love that. I don't care about flying, right? I wouldn't care about the flying. I wouldn't care about you know, when you say I would love to be invisible, that gets creepy. You open your door into a world of creepiness. Definitely super strength. Cheers, Spence. Yeah, so that way I could do everything just way over the top. You know, and I feel like I'd be good at digging a hole in my garden. You know, it'd be practical. You know, I like that's
Oh, I, that has to be the most pathetic superpower ambition ever. I'd like to be really good at digging a hole.
I would like to like carry shit
Uh,
for like work
uh,
better without having to
if I was
rely on
stronger,
a
I could carry
machine.
the shopping in from the car in one go. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Little things where you know it's just impressive in everyday life. I don't need to lift or stop a tower from falling. I need to be able to get all the groceries in one go. Like, give me that strength. That's super strength. Like, God, man.
No, no, that's pitiful. You know, because
Hey,
and it just shows you. I mean, there was somebody I interviewed. I won't name Joey because I don't want to embarrass him. But there
no,
was
definitely
somebody
don't
I
name Joey.
interviewed that wanted X-ray vision so he could look at titties all day. We were getting in trouble. So,
Fair enough.
um,
Fair
and
enough.
you know, it was hard to fault them. In fairness, it was.
I mean, what would you do? I mean, but then again, remember, you couldn't discriminate. It would be all, even men's.
Uh, yeah. Well, no, you'd like to think you could control it. You know, think. I mean, if you had your super strength, you wouldn't just automatically be walking around digging holes. You'd have to choose whether to dig a
I
hole or
would,
when not to.
yeah,
You know.
I would have no doors on a car. I would have no door. I would have ripped those off. You know, I feel like it would be one of the ones that least feel like a curse as you get older. You know, and that's I know I wouldn't use it for superhero shit. I would use it for everyday shit and no one would know. You know,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah, I
I
wish
think
I had super
somebody would spot it.
I would like to think so. I would
Yeah,
just like that. Like, oh, his
yeah.
super strength. Like, but do you see how
Like,
fast he dug that hole?
are
Fucking
look enough for the holes. Move on. There's other
oh,
applications
sorry,
for
man.
the fact of digging holes. But your neighbour at some point is going to see you lifting the car up to change the wheel without using a jack. Somebody's going to spot you at some point, you know.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's terrifying because like he told me he couldn't move my fridge. You know, like what?
that's true. Ah, there's the double-edged sword. We're moving house. Daniel, could you help? You know.
Like, no, I'm busy. I got
No,
a back
no, no.
problem.
I hurt my back. You know, you'd have to have a wee zip on cast so you could just go. I can't look. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
look,
apart,
broke it, completely
broken,
broken.
broken. So
Yeah, no, yeah, I think I would be the worst person with superpowers, bro. It'd be
okay.
so lackluster. Like,
See,
I
I'll
don't
be
know.
honest. Your ambitions have been so mid-level. You might actually be British. I think that's why the braces socks work for you.
Oh,
Because
maybe, maybe.
just
I'm realistic. I feel like I've been punched in the throat my life so many times. Like when I go to release my autobiography long after it's going to release on Pornhub first because of how many times I've been fucked. Like that's it.
no, that is an ambition. Yeah, my life was so good I had to release it on Pornhub. You know,
Oh God.
Uh, I was the Ron Jeremy of carpentry and digging holes. So, you know,
Oh, there it is. Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a name for your autobiography as well. So,
There
um,
it is. There it is.
uh,
Oh man.
no, and there's all sorts of double entendres for Ron Jeremy and digging holes, but we'll move on. So,
Yeah,
um,
keep
so
going through that one, dude.
right. So,
Oh,
question 12: Who on YouTube has
oh.
surprised you the most?
Mm. Who on YouTube has surprised me the most? I want to say there's someone that um from my area, my DC area, DC metropolitan, the DMV is what we call it, who helped Embrace the Suck out a little bit. Spence will know this one. It's the LFR family, right?
Right.
Cool guy, good dude. Used to do a lot of music reactions. And he just pivoted into falling into all 100% political stuff. Like
I've seen.
he just did a 180, man.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reaction channels do that.
Yeah,
There's a and weirdly, strangely, a lot of the the black reaction, the Carter family, young black fellas, and
yep.
they'll start on the Beatles and all this here, and then they'll stumble across something,
It's
and like Jordan Peterson or Candace Owens or something, and then all of a sudden you start to see more. They're looking at
it's
stuff on,
crazy.
yeah,
It's like a big pivot point.
yeah,
It's a big pivot point on, and it's shared across the whole YouTubeverse almost. They start with music, and then all of a sudden, boom. Yeah, yeah. I just saw that, and I just watched that EB. But yeah, he's from DC. Um, we um we we shouted him out a couple times, but like it's crazy how he went from music reactions and all this stuff and checking out like different songs that he's not familiar with, and all of a sudden, boom, did a 180, and
yeah,
and I just felt like that's just a quick way to just divide everyone. I feel like we're all here to step away from the bullshit and craziness. YouTube is supposed to be a micro escape. It's just like I don't know. It's
yeah,
at least around here we get shoved with all this nonsense all the time, just down our throats everywhere we go. And
yeah.
YouTube for me was an escape for that, and
I
that's surprised me
I
the
follow.
most.
I like the culture stuff and the political
Mhm.
stuff, but I like to keep them separate. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
tune in to Embrace the Suck to have a political opinion for you. I may tune in to
yeah,
watch you know, watch something or react to something funny or react to a concert or something like that. So I get what you're saying. If I want to stick me with sports, I don't want to watch sports guys getting political. I want to see them playing football.
yeah,
You
pretty
know,
much.
and if I want to watch something political, I'll deliberately go and I'll watch something political. So and
I,
it's like
I see it. I see it. I see it. Yeah, yeah, and because there's less risk and larger heart. Yeah, very, very, very true. Very true. But I see it. And I'm like, okay. At one point, it's like you see someone else do it and you follow that path, you mimic them, or are you interested in yourself? And it's just like, if you're gonna go down this path, go down the path.
Yeah.
And you know what's at the end of that path is going to be demonetization and or strikes,
Yeah.
all this kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, what I don't like is fakeness. If it's an organic thing, if somebody just does genuinely stumble across, somebody said, "Watch this speech" or whatever, and they go, right, okay, this genuinely has piqued my interest. I'm going to do more. It's
Yeah,
like it's if it's a genuine thing, and I'm not all, some people are good at covering it up, and some people are so stupid they can't tell.
yeah,
But there's a lot of times you can see if a reaction is genuine or an opinion is genuine. There are grifters out there, and there are, people that watch it couldn't tell you, if they walk out saying it's raining, they wouldn't, if their hair gets wet, they wouldn't even know it was raining. There's idiots out there, but I think a lot of time people can tell. But so if somebody genuinely, well, actually, I'm interested in this, and they're prepared to take it down and the demonetization is a scary thing for a lot of guys. It's
yeah,
um, and I think, and I've said this before. I'm going to say the one thing I'll say, like, I'll use the last place with a written guarantee of free speech, and even it's starting to be eroded. So it is worrisome that you have to be so careful if you venture an opinion on certain things that we won't say here.
yep.
All of a sudden you can just wake up in the morning, you have an email from YouTube going, yeah,
That's
bye
it.
bye, and
It's crazy.
it's silly, so
It's terrifying. It's very
yeah,
terrifying because you can't. It's like you can't explore in the public's eye. It's like you can't. Like, hey, let's go on a journey. Like for me on Arias in the Nation, we do a journey that you don't like. You're not a fan of, and I appreciate that, and I love your input on that specific journey. And
even my negative input.
I love it because it's still input. It's not all gumdrops and rainbows, dude. Like,
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
What I will say, there are people that are in and or around my little bit of this YouTube world that think I'm just negative, think I'm too negative, but and all I say to them is, yeah, fuck you, I don't care. But people that just like everything aren't. You can't value somebody's opinion that thinks everything's great.
Yeah,
So
and that's the one. That's the you gotta have an opinion, and that's why I always like your comments, man. I love them. I love them. It's like I love this. I love this. They can go suck a duck, and I'm like, yes, that's my dude. Heart and like, yes. I love that, dude.
I know.
But
But
I don't know, man. I feel like we're all spiraling. But anyway, like getting back on that guy, that shocked me because I'm all about community building, community retention, engagement. You're in there, and it's like, holy crap! You go from reacting to music, that's 99% of your channel, and then pivoting. Like, holy dude, you're.
I suppose it's different if they're a big channel. And the name rings a bell, but I don't know them. But so many of our friends here started. I mean, I think EB started reviewing electric trucks or something, and then did a bit of beer, and then JV did some beer and that. Although, in fairness, for a lot of guys, just an excuse to drink, which is fair enough. But and then, it evolves into something else. So, but I you're right. If it's a big channel, and then all of a sudden, fuck it, let's go political.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think it's crazy. Like you said, like Cartier family, their music up until like what 6 months ago.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, just boom, 90% of their stuff is now political, and I'm like, fair enough. Like if this is your journey, this is your channel. As long as all you guys are in agreement, all right, fair enough. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine one of the four of them sitting there going, "If we get demonetized, I'm going to kill the three of you."
Yeah.
One of them just wants to watch old Beatles tracks, and they're talking about slavery and fucking and Trump and Biden and all the rest of it.
Yeah, like what? I thought we were doing music. No, that was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Hold on.
Get ready.
Why,
Your
why
face
didn't we
is.
get paid by YouTube this month? Why did we get no ad revenue? You know?
Yeah, like, what is this demonetized thing? But it just it's pretty crazy to me, especially when you do something that's very it's like one of the things you don't touch on in normal conversation is religion, politics, and stuff. That's just one of the things you don't touch, and they're putting it out there, and I'm like, oh my god, that is ballsy, especially when your livelihood depends on this, and especially when you guys are all in. They're all in on the channel, right? And that's where I'm like, oh, that's risky. You roll the dice. You roll the dice with it, and that's, I guess, commendable. I guess commendable. I don't know, man. Anyway, but yes, EB, beer, music, electric vehicles. Back to music. There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm just going to
much.
correct JV. JV, your channel was brilliant. You just, well, I'm not going to say Blake ruined it, but yes, some of us ruined it for you. Some of us were a bit too much for you on a Friday night, and I understand that. And EB's right. EB's always right. Listen to EB. So,
Yep. No, he
okay.
definitely does have a good channel here.
Question 13. Oh, well, it's unlucky 13.
Oh, well.
Yeah. What's been the worst experience of your life?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let me see. The worst experience of my life. Oh man, I've had a lot of my life. I don't. Let me see. Worst experience of my life. That's a good one. I don't. I'm trying to think about it. And no, I won't say that, JV. Don't worry. I'm not gonna say joining Friday Fun for the first time. No, that's how I was introduced to all of you via
See,
EB.
weirdly, JV's answer to this question was the first time I joined his show on a Friday, which I thought was a bit unfair, and it all went downhill from there.
That's awesome. Let me think. Let me think about this. Worst experience I've had in my life. Probably. Okay. It's gonna be a little bit complicated, but I mean, such is the worst experience of your life, right? I was having a bad case of, I think it was a Thursday, and I was driving this piece of Jeep. It was my first real vehicle. It was like this Frankenstein version of an SUV, and it broke down. And I was just having literally the shittiest day. It broke down in the worst spot, like intersection, terrible place. I was super young. I was like 2 years out of high school. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I just got out of the car, whatever. And the whole day just went to shit. Whole day went to shit. And right across the street was the Army recruiting station. So I did that. So because of that. And that shitty day, that shitty moment affected the rest of my life. Like and
But it sort of means, if joining the army was good for you, then breaking down was what was meant to happen that day.
yeah, that's why I'm like, the worst experience. I don't know, man. I don't know if I've had the worst experience. Oh, I was on my way to Colombia, South America, and the pilot got on the radio. We had to make a pit stop or a refuel stop in, I believe it was, I think it was Honduras. And so we didn't have enough gas to get there, enough fuel to get to where we were supposed to get.
Yeah.
And so he tells us this, right? He tells us this over the, as any great, awesome pilot captain would, and we're going to actually stop in Costa Rica instead, something like that. And because of that, it voided my return trip from Colombia, South America, back to the U.S. And I didn't know that until I was on my way back from Colombia to the U.S. So I'll break it down. I purchased a ticket to go to Colombia. We had a stop in Costa Rica. We didn't have enough fuel there. Fuel for I don't know, man. It was like 2000. What was that? 2017. The whole thing is I got fucked by the airline. I got fucked by the airline, and I spent an ungodly amount of time in the airport waiting for a flight, like tons of time, like a day, maybe around
Right.
24 hours, just
Oh,
out
hell.
there. And I couldn't just get out and just chill and just go to the country and just like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm not doing that because my luggage and shit. uh, that was probably the most uncomfortable I've ever been. That was the
Yeah.
most uncomfortable I've ever been because I was out there with no one around me to help.
You traveling on your own?
Yes,
See,
yes.
I couldn't travel on my own. I had friends that would quite happily get on a plane and back in the day they'd fly off on their own. I couldn't do it. I just um I have to have somebody with me, even if it's just to look after your bag when you go off for a fucking shit in the airport.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not daft,
yeah.
Um, not
Uh,
having to carry everything with you everywhere you go, having somebody to talk to, somebody if you're not sure what gate to go to, what train to get, what.
yeah.
I hate
And
doing. I flew to Amsterdam on my own, but I was meeting friends out there. But even just going to the airport and sitting about your own was a was was a pain in the hole. And
I don't know, man. I just hate not being in control and not knowing the area where I'm at.
yeah,
Like that's where I don't know, man. I've lived my life avoiding those moments,
yeah.
and
No,
so that was probably the most stressed out I've been.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the lack of control is big for people. I mean, one of my friends I did travel with, he hated
mhm.
flying. Now he would still do it. We did America twice, and Vegas to Belfast, like 14 and a half hours. With a 4 hour layover in the middle of it, but he'd literally do a couple of diazepam and drink a few vodkas and just you know space out in the flights. The only way he could do it. But he still did it just because he liked getting to the place. But he didn't like flying because he wasn't the one in control.
Flying, man, flying and I would say not sailing. I haven't been proper sailing. I'm no
It's
I
great.
yeah, I assume so, but I love land. I love the land. I love the ground. Gravity has been there for me since birth. So I'm not trying to fight my way against it. But cheers, Kemi K.
I mean,
But yeah, no, I would say for the most stressful, most worst experience is that being an American abroad, trapped in a country that you really don't know anyone in,
yeah,
and you're just like you're at the mercy of the shittiest organization out there, which is the airline,
yep,
and that is terrifying. I've been to less I don't know, man. Like I feel like okay, I can go down to Baltimore and hang out for a little bit with less fear than I did in that airport that day. So
no,
anyway,
no, perfect. Yeah, travel's a big one for people. It's just
yeah.
for all the thrills of the stuff you experience when you're there. The stress of traveling's just it's a
There's
nightmare. So
there's something about getting home. There's something about coming home after you travel. You're like, oh, it's nice.
I don't know. The two times I went to America, I mean, the first time when we did New York and then Vegas.
Okay.
Both times it was over the holidays, so we were in Vegas for New Year's. And the first time coming home, I'd still money in my wallet and all. I was near in tears at the airport. I don't want to go home. You can't make me go home. I'm staying. You know. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
and then you've all that traveling, before to get home. It's the actual physical act of traveling, and you're at the airports and assholes on planes, and
So it's just so irritating. Everyone's on edge in the
yeah,
airport. I don't know, man. It's just the weirdest place. It's the weirdest vibe. It's like the melting pot of the world is in the airport, and everyone's on edge.
yep,
Like,
yeah.
no,
Everybody's been
just
drinking
chilled
Red
out.
Bull and just yeah,
Yeah, and oh my god, it depends where you go. At least airports here, they're not terrible, but my god, there's a show of force. That's for damn sure. There's like I would imagine for you come here, you see dogs with the officers with guns just
No,
doing their
I'm,
laps. And you're like,
I'm
what
from
the shit?
Belfast. See,
Oh, yeah.
we grew up with that shit. You
Yeah.
see, when I was a kid, because of the troubles,
No.
we had rings of what we call rings of steel around the airport. So
Mm-hmm.
within as soon as you got within 2 miles of the airport, there was army and police because of the troubles. So
Yeah.
we get stopped and searched. The car gets searched. You get searched all on the way into the airport. You get searched your bags get checked 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Um, which is why after 9/11, when your security ramped up, we were going through the airports in America, and everybody else was stressing. And we were like, "What the fuck? It's
It's
just
just like
normal to us,
normal.
you know." Yeah, they take your shoes off as new because of the shoe bomber, but but the rest of it, was you have to get your stuff
It's like,
X-ray, you take all the metal off, you have to walk through guys with guns. Yeah, you know.
yeah, before they just weren't allowed, right?
Yeah,
Or what were they? They're mildly prohibited. They're
yeah,
like
but
knives.
yeah,
Like,
so we were just so used to seeing all that it wasn't an issue for us. Um, and I know it was a culture shock for Mike. I know you're all used to
yeah,
guns, and that's not a criticism. I think it's a positive thing. But you weren't
yeah.
used to seeing the heightened security at the airports, and it is scary if you're not used to it. And you go, and all of a sudden there's armed police everywhere and sniffer dogs, and
They're like, what is going on? It's like, oh, it's going to be this way for the next forever.
yeah,
It's yeah.
probably because
But
they put these things in place, and you tend to never get away from them. So,
yeah.
okay, so
All right.
another nice easy one for you.
Yeah.
Have you loved enough in your life?
That's a big question too, man. Jesus. That's a big question. And I mean, that's a big word. In what sense? You know what I mean? That's a very massive word again.
Whatever way you want to interpret it, just know.
I would have to say no, because I would have to say no, because life isn't over yet, and I would say the love towards my son is ever like evolving. It's like it's this ongoing massive thing, It's just there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more moments where I'm going to have to learn like to love differently. It's an ever evolving thing. It can't just be a one and done thing. If that's what we're talking about, like, have I loved enough?
Absolutely, whatever way you want to interpret it. There's no,
Yeah, I would have to say no. I think that is that's a very big question. I would be very interested to see who has said yes and why. Because I would have to keep it at a no, because I don't think anyone can love enough.
So
But
not yet. Is that
okay.
maybe it? Have you lived a lot? Have you loved enough? Not yet is maybe the answer then.
All right. Have I? I don't know. It's just a big word. It's just like it's a massive word. It's a massive word.
Yeah.
I would say like yes and no. Does that make sense? I've loved who I love. I'm spiraling now. I'm spiraling with that question. I'm like, all right, okay, here we go. This is gonna last forever out there on the internet. Let me see. You know what I mean? Like, I would have to say no, Captain. I would have to say no. I haven't loved enough in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what you're coming out with these huge freaking questions, man. Like there's huge, massive questions. Like,
and interestingly enough,
question.
If anybody's interested to see how anybody else answered this, the other interviews are available on Captain Bad Music, so you can go back and watch them.
I'm gonna be watching them right after this. I'm like
just to see how everybody else struggled with some of the because some of the questions. Yeah,
it's a great question, man. It's a great question. Jesus.
See, it has evolved slightly. Joey get asked stuff like, "What's your favorite color?" and and what's your spirit animal, and
I love that.
And it's sort of evolving slightly, but
it turned. This question? What's your favorite color? Has turned into, have you loved enough in your life? Christ.
No, in fairness, I think this question was in it from the start, but it's always a subjective thing. Yeah, I mean, is it platonic love? Is it familial love? Is it
Yeah,
is it you know I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know the other
That's
terms. You know what I mean?
it's a very big question, and so
Yeah,
like I have to take it what I think it means.
yeah, absolutely. Right. So an easier
Yeah.
one then. Um, where would you most like to travel to and why? And I suppose it has to be somewhere that you haven't been. So going back to Colombia,
No, I
you know,
wouldn't go. I
but
mean, um, I would absolutely love to go to Egypt and do Egypt. That place,
awesome.
that place fascinates the shit out of me, dude. I would just love that, even though I wouldn't be loved there, but still, you know, I would love to just put my foot in the sand there. Um, yeah, Gary.
Yeah, yeah, sort of, sort of.
Is your
Um,
favorite color as a bald fairy?
yeah.
Uh,
Although in fairness, what's your favorite color? Blue. Does
oh,
that mean you're secretly gay, Joey? I
like
just
what?
yeah.
Well, we have this chart here that clearly says
Uh,
blue's gay.
you
Like
know,
what?
your favorite color is red, so that means you hate Jews. That's uncalled for, Joey.
What? It says here in the chart. We
Yeah,
like what chart? Oh,
yeah.
oh man.
Egypt fascinates me too. The Egyptology it's fascinating, especially because I think a lot of it's about to change.
Yeah.
There's the guy Graham Hancock who, when he first wrote "Fingerprint of the Gods" in '99, he got
Man.
vilified and he got called all sorts of stuff. But when he did Joe Rogan last week or the week before, it only just come out, and it's his fourth or fifth time. But the thing is, a lot of stuff that he proposed or suggested, he never made bold claims. This is definitely this.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff he said, look, I don't think this is right. I think maybe this. A lot of it now, more and more, it's starting to be accepted
It's
as truth.
it's crazy how quick they went after him.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and that's why it's like my ears like pricked up and I'm like, okay, if they're coming after him that hard, someone's onto something. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
if he's just this old guy screaming at the sky, no one give a shit.
I know.
But it's you start doing that. You start doing that. That's knocking out the right door. People are coming to
Absolutely,
unalive
Gary.
you, and
Absolutely.
not even that. The one that they're doing in the Amazon is amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Come on.
Yeah, the soil, the fact that he thinks that it's a man made. It's basically a big fruit garden for people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know all that stuff. But the Egyptology stuff, because he was talking the new radar technology. LiDAR's what the
Yep.
one they're doing it all over the place, and they're going to have to do it in the Sahara as well. Because I was only watching the likes of him and Jimmy
Can it?
Corsett, and I realized the Sahara 5,000 years ago was a rainforest,
Yeah. Can
and
it?
will eventually become a rainforest again. They reckon,
Can
So
can that radar penetrate sand?
to a degree, yes, but it may not go deep enough. It depends how much
Man,
down to the top
because
of it.
my God, dude, my God, like I get it. Like they have that what's that freaking place that's older than time itself? Apparently, something Pandek, whatever that dude that thing. Gobekli Tepe, that one,
Oh yes, in Turkey,
that
yes.
one.
Yeah, I'll
Yep,
go back to
that
that. I
one.
always mispronounce that one, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
ironically, it's not even the biggest one they found now.
Nope. Nope.
They found
There's
another one.
one that's
So
close. It's like older.
yeah, and
It's
because
wild.
that lidar is brilliant, and now that they can do it on drones, they don't have to put helicopters and planes up and crisscross. That's going to lead them. You see some of the geometric stuff that they found, and geoglyphs, I think they're calling them, the big
Yep.
concentric circles and with the square of the circle and all, and they're all perfectly
It's
aligned to the
crazy.
stars. I love that sort of shit. So, but he was talking the other day, and I mentioned it in Joey's chat because the guy on it was doing the ancient mysteries.
Yeah.
They found the Great Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza. They found another chamber above it using new technology. Well, they either haven't been in it yet or they haven't told us what they found in it. But new scanner technologies
It's
found new
crazy.
passages and new. So there'll be all sorts of stuff. It's
and so that's the kind of stuff. Getting back to the first question, dude, that's the kind of stuff that like I listen to just because I got it. That's my way of shutting it all off.
yes,
Shut it all off. Because it doesn't matter if it's right or if it's wrong to me. I still have to buy fuel for my truck the next day. I still have to spend so much money in just getting out and doing the regular things. But
yes,
it's crazy. It's crazy to think that it could exist. It could be true. It could be awesome. It could be terrible. You know, maybe some things are left buried. You know, some shit like that. You know, 100% Africa goes split in half. It's crazy, dude. But I love it. I love the more that we find. I'm there for it. But it shuts the demons out when I listen to that.
absolutely. I mean, we're talking about the conspiracy theories earlier, and it's not really conspiracy theories, it's just a theory. But there are people that, a guy called Jamie Corsetti has proposed that Atlantis is actually in the Sahara. There's a big thing called the Sahara. If you just Google it. I love all that shit, man. We're never going to know about all this stuff.
Dude, it's built into us, right? As we get older, it's like somehow World War II books appear out of nowhere. We're like, what is that? When I never bought that. And then all of a sudden, some dude mentions Atlantis out in the garden, and you're like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go looking. Some shit like that, man. I'm like, dude, let's have fun. Life is crazy. We don't know. We don't know ins or outs, or we're not trying to prove anything. We're not going to solve anything with this, but it's great to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, love watching all that sort of stuff. So okay. Question 16. So, what's your favorite band and song? It doesn't have to be the song. Song could be separate from the band, for argument's sake.
Okay. Favorite song, I would say. Favorite song. Something that will. Something that always pumps me up. Something that's always in my truck when I hit the road has to be Thunderstruck. It's a classic go-to for mine. It's just that gets me. It fits any mood. It just gets me moving in the morning.
Yeah,
Thunderstruck is my go-to.
AC/DC does that. It just does. So
I love that song. I fight for that song. And band. Shit, dude. Well, it's got to be Nickelback. No, I'm kidding. It's got to be Nickelback, right? No. Let me see. Someone. It's hard. It's hard because remember this, Captain. I've been super unplugged for like 5 years, man. Since my son was born, I haven't really like dove down new things. That's why this whole YouTube thing is crazy.
Yeah.
But I stopped, I would say, mass ingesting media after my son was born. I know all about kids shows and kids songs, and I know what's going on in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood more than I do know what's going on in it with my freaking neighbors. Jack Kroger's in the chat. Fuck that. I would say Blink 182 for me.
Right.
Favorite band, Blink 182. I a lot of old friends that have passed on come back to life when I play that music. So
right,
I
love Blink 182. I'm a big fan. Ironic, they're playing Belfast next year, and the tickets are out, but they're wildly expensive.
It's over there too.
Yeah,
they tried to go.
and it's the original 3 again, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's and to be honest, I'm trying to talk myself into it, but it's been 160 quid, so it's about $200, and that's dear. I mean, I've all their albums. That's true. There might be a recent one I don't have, but of most of their albums, I've loved them for years. But it was just. I'm looking at it and I'm just my friend Wesley goes with me to most of the gigs, and half the time he doesn't know the bands, and he just goes just to night out and he likes the music, and invariably likes them. He
Mm-hmm.
went to see Blackberry Smoke and bands like that he didn't know, and just he went
Yeah.
home. He went there, fucking brilliant. Rivals Sons, a Canadian, Californian band that Jeremy JV put me on to, and brilliant. And where I could probably throw that sort of money at a concert, I'm not sure I wouldn't be fair getting Wesley to pay for a band he doesn't know to go with,
That's
to go with me. There's a band that's doing well at the minute. They've just had a #1 album called Nothing But Thieves. They're playing Belfast
okay.
in like 2 weeks tonight, and
Are you gonna go to that?
Wesley was sorry.
I say you're gonna go to that one. The Nothing
Yes,
But
we
Thieves.
tickets. I love them. I've been raving about them for a while, and they're playing Belfast. They played Maryland a couple of weeks ago because Angie was
Did
really
they?
annoyed. Yeah,
What?
Angie missed them, and Wesley's older than me, and I'm just saying their current band. Me and him will drag the average age up. Wesley's in his 60s, and I'm almost in my 50s, and I know it's going to be all fucking teenagers and maybe early 20s, and we're going to stick out like a sore thumb. But so taking them to the likes of that's different.
Yeah.
An Ocean Colour Scene, he's going with me to see Ocean Colour Scene in December, and he doesn't know them that much. I've seen them at the height of Britpop. Seen them, but he doesn't know them. So
Oh man. Well, at least Ocean Color Scene will. I think that vibe would match.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see a bunch of. I wouldn't assume you would see a bunch of young teeny
no,
boppers
I
out
wouldn't
there.
think so.
Like you've had to put your time in to the scene to go there.
Yeah,
Um,
but Blink 182. Yeah, no, that's
I just because for me, I'm like, what's my favorite band? And I'm like
yeah,
thinking back, I'm like, how many mixtapes? Remember when you used to burn CDs? Remember then? You would make a mixtape, right? And how many of those featured the same artist over and over and over again? Like who would
yeah,
be the band? Maybe not the song, but the band that would make it on every
yeah,
road trip CD. And
yeah.
for me, in my case, would have to be Blink 182.
For
Like,
me, it'd be AC/DC.
yeah, yep.
AC/DC. So, and I'm not complaining, BC. I'm just commenting. Okay, I'd never complain. No.
No, man.
But, but
So
yeah,
yeah,
no. I
yeah.
like Blink 182. I've never heard anybody say that they're like their favorite, but you know what I mean. It's different strokes and all that.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
like them. I'm not just everybody goes Beatles or they go Zeppelin or they go like I did. I picked AC/DC. But it's genuine. That's my
Yeah.
big fucking AC/DC
Well,
tattoo on my back and all. So I'm
yeah. Well, you got this. You got my favorite song, Thunderstruck. That's on everything I do. Favorite band has to be for me, like Blink 182, man. It's just they've been involved in a lot of key moments in my life.
yeah.
Whether
Well,
they're in the soundtrack of an accident, getting
yeah.
pulled over, whatever, it's
But funny
always
enough,
playing.
I have a big rock playlist on my phone. So even like in the car, just go rock playlist shuffle. It's like
Yep.
7 hours of music, so it just hit shuffle and it's just random. And
No.
Adam's song was playing, today when I nipped down to the shops at lunchtime, and it's a great song. But AC/DC for me, because my first ever album that I bought was AC/DC. My first ever proper vinyl was AC/DC High Voltage. So it's just stuck with me my whole life, So
That's crazy. I feel like my first two CDs that I bought were Bob Marley's Greatest Hits and The Temptations' Greatest Hits. Those are my two first CDs that I bought.
My first CD was the Eurythmics Greatest Hits.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't even have a CD player. I had to sneak into my brother's room when he was out because he was the first to get like a good stereo. And literally, and you'd have to sneak in and try not to touch anything and play it and stand and look out the window to watch him coming home. Get that off, go in your own room. But yeah, that was my first. But yeah, but AC/DC High Voltage, I still got it somewhere. Still got it, although I can't play it. But,
Man. God.
No. Okay. So
yeah, man.
Right. Have you always made friends easily? And is it getting harder for you as you get older?
Yes. Easily, yes. And is it getting harder for me as I get older? Yes, because I hate going out. Like I just I hate being in public spaces. I I it's this weird thing that happens, man. I love being out there. I love conversing. I love talking. I love getting to meet new people. But friends, you know what I mean? Like inner circle, like meet the family, bring home. It's like, dude, it's tough. It's tough because right now, who are your besties? The besties that you have in your life have been through seasons, have been through changes, have been through the ride or die moments. They've solidified themselves as I will call you to help me hide the body. And then there are people that you call, that help, to at least know where your body is. Your best friends are going to be right there next to you, regardless, kind of thing. And I'm like, that circle of friends isn't remade. Like, uh,
Yeah,
I don't, I feel like I am friendly with a lot of people as I get older, but I'm not where people are. Like, does that make sense?
yeah,
I'm not out there. I'm not at the bars. I'm not in the bar scene. I'm not at the club. I'm not around where a lot of people tend to be. So I've removed myself from people, but there's YouTube, and that's different.
yeah. But if you're in a room with people, do you still find it easy to make small talk and make friends? That's
Yes, yes, I really do. I really do because I love making it awkward for people. Because I love the corporate world per se. I used to work at a bank, and I used to love these like this shit show where they gathered everyone up, and we all hurrahed when they told us how much we're robbing poor people. And I was like, yeah, okay, yay. And we would all have these like intermingling stuff where we're just forced to, that bullshit. Like, oh, what's two things about you? And at the time I'd be a dumbass, like, I'm Daniel and I've killed 12,000 people in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like some shit like that. Something so stupid that they're gonna forget because they don't want to be there either. So I
yeah,
don't
that
know.
that that forced environment. But
I hate that. But
it's some people just find it easy. Some people are just instantly likable. You know,
oh man.
and
Well,
and I've said this, and I'm not going all woe is me before BC or somebody has a go in it, but I know my strengths and weaknesses. I'm not a people person. I'm not I'm an acquired taste. You have to get to know me, and then I have to get
yeah.
to know you. Um, I can't just sit down in a room with people and automatically just sit and chit chat. I can't do it. It's just not me. And it doesn't help that I despise nearly everybody I meet,
Yeah.
or even nearly everybody I haven't met yet. Just don't. I'd much rather have a room full of dogs than people.
There you go.
Which is why I'm so pleased whenever it breaks through and I meet somebody that I get on with and I can have a joke with and that I can trust to talk to. And
It's refreshing. It's
yeah,
refreshing, man. And it's I don't know, man. This whole world of this like YouTube stuff, man, it's blown a hole in what I thought what the internet was. It
yeah,
blew it away. I'm like, because I wouldn't have crossed paths with half these people that I've talked to in the
yeah,
chats that are popping up.
yeah,
I wouldn't know any of them, and that's like I feel very blessed, very happy, and like we wouldn't have crossed paths with it wasn't for fucking EB. Shout out to you, EB, if you're still out there. Um,
I thought
and
you were gonna,
JV.
yeah, I thought you were gonna blame EB there. It's your fault. I know
No,
him, EB.
it's your
Yeah,
fault. It's your
yeah.
fault. No, but it's great. It's great,
It
man.
got, in fairness, I've traced this all back to EB. I think it was that stupid laugh of his, and you can hear it. If it's playing anywhere in the house, you can hear it, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like
think my brother stumbled across it YouTube. He said, "You've got it," and then so I started watching stuff because because he was doing all the old British stuff, and we knew them as kids. So I was watching them, and then I saw the B&A show. From the B&A show, I met JV, and then and so on and so forth. So I
so
do.
on and
I
so forth.
think this YouTube thing for me was all EB's fault,
There you go.
um, and
It's
yeah, but
your
it's
fault, EB. It's your fault.
yeah, and then even I mean the thing about you've seen me on JVs. See when I'm there with people I know, I'm loud and I'm opinionated and I'm But see when somebody comes up I don't know, I still tend to go quiet, even though I'm with friends and I'm like that in real life as well. If you put me in a group with 5 or 6 people, I'll be the quietest one in the group unless I know everybody in the group well. If I'm sitting with 5 friends and a stranger comes and sits down, I go quiet.
Well, it's hard. It's hard because everyone is on such extreme different levels now. Where it's like, I feel like I've already stepped on the toes I need to step on in my group of friends. Like I'm not gonna piss anyone off in my group of friends. I don't have to watch where I step or with what I say. I've already done that. We've already been through that. We got
Yeah,
over it, and and yes, EB, it's your fault.
yeah. But
Oh man,
okay.
yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So yes and yes for you then. So
Yes, and yes. I would say yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yes and yes,
yeah.
man. Yes and
Okay.
yes. 100%.
Right. Another nice easy. We'll go for a nice soft one here for you then. So,
All right, cool.
do you have any big regrets in your life?
All right. Oh my god. That's this is when I would tease my biography drop right here. My big regrets, man. Do. I know it sounds so stupid, man. Big regrets. I would say maybe not trying harder in school, man. Taking it as a joke, taking school as a joke. Being more. I put more time and energy making other people laugh than I did actually bettering myself. But at the same time, I've prided myself in that being really my only and biggest regret. Like I don't have too many. And I feel like that helps me live my life in a very easygoing, fun-loving way. There's no regrets. I live. If I wanted to do something, I did it, whether it was stupid or smart. Like I did it. You know.
Well, I think that's really healthy. If something goes wrong and then you do, I shouldn't have done that. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Forget
And
about it, and then move on. It's
I I feel like my big regret is not having a proper education, which means fuck all. I understand that. It means nothing, right?
yeah.
It means nothing, but it means I feel like I could have made the
Well,
friends
well,
later.
I, I'm funny enough. I was talking about this and when I was in the office yesterday. I was away years ago, the Amsterdam, a group of fellas. I only knew a few of them, and we were sitting talking, and they were all nice guys, and there was a psychiatrist there, and there was, they'd all been. I left school before university.
Hmm.
Didn't fancy it. Wasn't for me. And everybody else sitting around the table had a degree and stuff. When I pointed out, one of them was like, "Oh, don't be thinking any less. You have a lot of, and all that." And I went, "Well, I don't." I says, "I'm smarter than most of you fuckers around the table. I just knew not to go to university, and it's getting to the point where people are going to university and they're coming out with a degree that means fuck off. See, no matter what, you have a trade. So if this YouTube thing goes tits up tomorrow, because you and Spencer go postal and kill each other, you know, um, you can
Yeah.
still go out and lay a deck. You know what I mean? You can still go and hang doors. You've got a trade. You know what I mean? Somebody coming out with fucking gender fucking studies degree can't do anything. You know what I mean? Unless you
Yeah.
get a job in HR or working for Disney, they're going out into the world with no practical skills.
Pretty much.
Tradesmen, I mean, because I tell you, if I had see your son now, I wouldn't be telling him unless he really fancied something, unless he really fancied, I want to be an archaeologist, then he has to go and study for it. Or he wants to be a doctor, that's different. You know what I mean? I would, if I had a kid, I would be teaching him to do stuff with his hands.
Oh,
I
sure.
really would. Be an electrician, be a plumber, be a chippy, be a bricklayer, do that sort of stuff. Because for one thing, you can always be your own boss if needs be.
Yep.
And you're always going to need somebody to lay bricks. You're always going to need somebody to go and hang a door. You're always going to need somebody to do that stuff. But all this other stuff comes and goes. I mean, IT is a prime example. For years there, you know, when I was at school, everybody was being told go and study computers, because that rightly enough they become more and more important.
Yeah.
But everybody did it, so now there's a surplus of IT guys in the market. So it's but you go out now and try to get a plumber. It's not easy.
No,
And get a
the
good plumber. It's
trades,
not easy. And go and get a spark or whatever. It's
the
so
trades, dude. The trades are just not. There's a lack of new blood in them. Like the machining trades and stuff like that, man.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I
crazy.
mean,
We saw that over on the Dibna journey.
yeah,
Like, damn,
absolutely.
dude, it's crazy.
I mean, my dad was a welder, and ultimately it killed him. But he was a welder, so he had a skill that he could. I mean, he literally at this stage he could have fucked off to Saudi Arabia or Japan or whatever and work, because they're needed out there.
Yeah.
But they don't need. You don't need IT guys. You don't need fucking history teachers. You don't need around the world anymore. You did at one point. Teachers used to be really sought after. He's a good teacher, right? Bring him to Australia. We need good teachers. Not now. But if you go out there and you're an electrician, you're a tradesman.
Yeah.
And that's so. I mean, so I didn't do university either. What you usually would call college. I didn't do it. I didn't get a degree, and I just think it's. I couldn't have done it when I was 18. I would have drowned. Because I'd have sat on my own for 3 years practically because I was so. I am really criminally shy, And some people here don't believe me because I'm loud and I'm loud and opinionated and obnoxious sometimes here, but that's only because I'm comfortable with people that I'm really friendly with. But but put me in a room full of strangers and hot women, I'm fucked. Everything's out the window and I'm sitting there staring at my favorite part of the ceiling, just
I mean the one thing, when my son, when he does get older, I definitely want him to learn how to work with his hands. Definitely want him to learn how to fail and get hurt. And also I definitely want him to be right. that God. It haunts me still. Guys.
That's uncalled for, JB. Uncalled for.
But yeah, no, definitely be whatever you do. I want to tell my son, like, whatever you do, man, just don't be replaceable. Be the dude. Be the person, not the Lebowski. That would be epic. But be the dude. Be the guy that everyone goes to for that one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my biggest regret, man. I was too focused on being the class clown than actually applying it to learning, because I would have advanced and saved a couple of good hammer swings in my life.
Yeah.
If I did. And I mean, I feel I'm a big believer in everything happens for reasons, shit like that. Like, hey, because of this, I did this and I ended up doing this. Like, well, I didn't have to swing hammers my whole life. I could have done it part-time. I didn't have to make it my thing. I could have done fucking anything else. But you go into what and I learned carpentry early. So
yeah, but it is genuine. It's something that'll stand you in good stead. And then see when the power grid goes down and the North Koreans invade and all the rest of it, you'll be able to move into the mountains and build a cabin and stuff. So you'll be grand.
Not fast, but I could.
We did
a couple huts.
Yeah, well, we did watch you. I know we did watch you build a deck, and that was the slowest deck build I've ever seen in my life. So.
Oh my god, man, that was too much. That was too much, man. That was.
And come the end of the world, nobody's going to be able to tell whether you're a good carpenter or not because you'll still do a better job than I can do. So I'll still go, yeah, you work away.
I was on it the other day, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Fuck, it's still standing.
I know. Should this be wobbling so much? What cowboy built this? Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, that's it. As long as I poke holes in it first. Man. Oh man.
Okay, nearly there. Nearly there. Um, right. Question 19. What have you learned about the British that you didn't know?
I feel like the sense of humor was different. I knew it was different. I didn't know how. And boy, did I get a lesson real quick. Real quick. Like that was like touching back on what we talked about with the Oasis reactions with kind of learning the UK comedians and how just taking the piss, giving just giving it to people. And I'm like, oh my God, it's vicious. Like, no, that means they like you. It's like, what? That
Yeah.
was the thing that I respect. Because that for me, that's how it worked in like
Yeah.
construction. I didn't know there was a whole across the pond like us, Like for me, it's like take the piss, like you gotta have thick skin. Like that's at least in the trade I worked in my whole life, that was a necessary. Like you gotta have thick skin. You gotta know how to give it, and you gotta know how to take it too. You gotta
Yeah.
let stuff slide off your shoulders sometimes. And I admired that with the stuff that we picked up on the UK comedy. I'm like, damn, that couldn't be said here. Like, what are they doing? How do
Yeah.
they still even have a show? That's crazy. How are they even saying this stuff? And it was refreshing. I didn't know what to expect. I thought the comedy was going to be similar to what we had here in the States. Not at all, by any means.
So
By any means. And I'm like, and I was telling Spencer this, the watching the UK shows has completely destroyed me trying to watch American stuff, like comedy shows. Let's say comedy shows. We comedy different. It's just
yeah.
different. It's a different build, different release, different. They let jokes marinate differently. And
Yeah.
I like the UK pacing. And that's something that I think that I that's one of the things I loved finding out. It's like, oh, we're more alike than I thought.
Yeah.
At least for me personally.
Yeah. I think. See, I a lot of American comedies formulaic, and it's just
Yeah.
it's hit the right note at the right time. It's all canned laughter. It's all. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Americans, when they get it right, is when you watch it, curb your enthusiasm. The American Office. I wasn't a big fan of Seinfeld, but I knew lots of people that were.
Mm,
Frasier, Cheers. There's loads of examples where the Americans get it right.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just sort of slightly. It's a different type of humor. Although I think one of the things the Americans, I didn't credit how much of an American art form that stand up is. And it's
Hmm.
taken years for the Brits to catch up. You know, and I'm not a big fan of stand up. I think it starts to become when I watch the same comedian too often, it just becomes dull for me because the tweak it slightly, but tends to just be the same. So Jimmy Carr's love Jimmy Carr, but after the last special, I've sitting going, really, it's the same jokes. It's
Yeah.
heckle me so as I can make an insult.
Yeah.
It's the same. Bill Burr's the same. Bill Burr in small doses is funny. Dave Chappelle in small doses to me. But I'd rather watch a comedy show. Like I mean, Gary just mentioned one as well. Mice
Yeah.
loved Mice growing up. It's just genius.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch that sort of thing than stand up a lot of the time because it just becomes formulaic. It's just for me it becomes dead and repetitive.
It's like you've seen it all. Like you see one, you're like, okay, I get it, kind of thing for that one
Yeah,
comedian. Specific, I would say more so that one comedian. I
yeah,
don't know, man. I would say I agree to a point, man. Like, but instead of seeing a comedian again, the same
yeah.
comedian again, I would see another one and see what
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I've never been to a comedy show. Um,
mm,
I was supposed to go. Ironically, there's a comedian here called Jack Whitehall. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
big fan, but he's okay. But I was supposed to go and see him a couple of years ago. My work would take us out at Christmas, and it
Mm-hmm.
was the first year I got invited to this sort of one. And there's always a surprise event. They did an escape room one year, but the first year I was invited, the tickets to see Jack Whitehall playing Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell and broke my shoulder,
Oh
so I was
shit.
off work for about 6 weeks and I couldn't go. And so that would have been the first and only time I've ever been to a stand-up comedy show. But the reason I mentioned the stand-up was because one thing the Americans do or did the comedy roast better than anybody else.
Oh, I love those. I
You know,
love those roasts, man.
but the
Come
last
on.
the last time I've seen them, truth be told, I think the Brits have got better. Jimmy Carr is the best roaster in the world. Ricky Gervais is very good at it.
Yep.
And I'm not saying the Americans are bad at it, but there's a few of the Brits are just, when you watch Jimmy Carr doing the one about who was he on with? Gary. Oh fuck, the
What?
actor.
Gary Busey? No.
No, it was the pretty boy that used to do all the movies. He had a go at Pete Davidson. He made a joke about Pete Davidson's dad died on 9/11 during the roast.
Help me out. I don't know.
Uh, but somebody's bound. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. But anyway, he is feared at the roasts and you'd think because we take the piss so naturally, you'd think the Brits would be really good at it, and it's
Man.
but I think the Americans still probably, if you look at the history of stand-up, the Americans still probably edge it.
Well, that's the. I would say your guys' crowd work is like vicious.
Yeah,
When your stand-up comedians get to do the crowd work, there are no survivors, dude. No survivors.
yeah,
Like you guys dig in, and I'm like,
yeah.
good God.
Al Murray's brilliant at it. Al Murray works a crowd as
Mm.
well as anybody. But then again, that's part of the reason I get bored with the comedy work because they all do it now. They
Yeah.
just want to, half their jokes are talk to the crowd. Haha, you're fat. Haha, you've got long hair. Haha, you've got, is this your wife? Oh, you're punching above your weight. Blah blah. And it just
Yeah.
comes dull. They're good
Yeah.
at it and all, but it just.
I discovered a new comedian, honestly, that I'm really digging. I don't know if it's because it just matches my vibe now. Is that there's a clean comedian called Nate Bargatze. Spence and I went to
Right.
see him. It's just a different take. It's refreshing. It's wild. It's wild. He was just on doesn't mean anything anymore, but SNL. You remember when they used to be funny?
Yeah.
But he did a hilarious little skit about weights and measurements in the UK. That's a pretty good one. But I like him because he's different, because he's clean, and it was weird, and it's weird because he slays.
Well, that's it. You have to be different now because yourself, when somebody gets successful at one thing, everybody tries to copy it. So if somebody's an insult comedian and he's successful, everybody becomes an insult comedian. So you sort of have to do something different. And it's weird. I love the old storytelling stand-ups. Dave Allen is arguably my favorite of all time. Partially because of nostalgia. He's an Irish. You know him. He's Irish. He used to sit with his whiskey and he'd sit and tell stories and he'd build it up. And they were so clever. They were so funny. And yes, there's nostalgia because I've very happy memories. What's that?
Is that the time? There's the time he was teaching his kids time.
Yes. So I remember sitting at home up in the Glencairn. My dad sitting with his feet at the fire because he'd been at work all day, and Dave Allen would come on and he'd sit, and my dad would sit and laugh for half an hour when Dave Allen was on, so there is that for me, and it's, but he's telling stories and he's telling, and then it's funny. I mean, the bit where he's talking about the Garden of Eden when God's telling, Eve not to eat the apple, you can have everything except that tree, and he looks and says, God, you do realize it's a woman you're talking to? He told a woman not to do something, and it's, and it's funny, and it's that it's that story. And there's a guy. Actually, I reckon I give EB a link the other day. He got his live stream ended the other day. An Australian comedian called Steve Hughes.
Oh no.
And I know he got it brought back up, but it was the guy talking about about being offended. He does a bit, and some of his stuff's brilliant. He's super clever, and he's a big heavy metal guy. So he comes on and he does all this. He's got the long hair and the black t-shirt and all.
Oh, I gotta check it out, man.
Yeah,
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, and he's brilliant. There's a bit he does where he bitches about the British watching the X Factor, and he starts randomly says, "Yous created, Pink Floyd, the Beatles." He rhymes off, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and he says, "Shame on you all," and it's brilliant, But so he's different, but for me, it's small doses, So, but look, it's each to their own,
Hey,
So
yeah. Well, you got to send me the link after this, man, because I'm down to check that out.
I'll send you the one that got EB killed. So because it's funny.
Yeah. Oh god.
No, I think he got it through because he came back up and he says we're okay now. But it was funny, So.
Oh man, I gotta check it out, man.
So,
my interest is peaked now, man.
Okay, I'll send you a couple of links. I'll have to send EB some of the other links as well.
Okay.
Probably remind me tomorrow to do that.
All
so.
Right.
So the last of the regular questions you'll be glad to hear is, what one thing from your childhood do you regret that your children not having or doing?
One thing from my childhood do you regret your children not having, doing? Oh my god, I would say it's more. Hey, cheers, lads. It's more of a free and safe outdoors. It's I don't have so much of it, right? I think around where I live in the country, it's very quiet, very chill. Everyone knows everyone. We know our neighbors, but outdoors in general, with all the craziness out there, it's becoming a crazy place. That's the biggest. I look at my son, I'm like, dude, I can't leave you out of my sight, kind of thing. You can go run around in the yard and, thank God, but it's we were left like feral children when I was growing up outside. There was nothing on TV, and we were fine. Parents didn't worry about us. We were out there using our imaginations, building forts or whatever we used to do.
Yeah. We were through out. As soon as we get up in the morning, we were through out of the house. Get out of the house, go play football, go do whatever. Come back at dinner time.
Yeah. And that's where it is. It's like that's where we learn to use our imagination. That's where we learn to be creative. That's where we learned how shit worked. I grew up in the country. My son is now like me, growing up in the country, but country's different. It's weird. It's like this weird bubble. Like, check on the kids all the time. Not just like yell at sundown. My mom would usually yell at it towards the woods at sundown. Come in, it's dinner, and that was the only time of the day that I would hear my mom after I got home from school. Right, I would be out all day, and now tablets and devices and TVs and fucking everything, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, right? And I sympathize completely. I was never either fortunate or unfortunate enough to have kids. Whatever way you want to look at it, but and I apologize because I'm repeating myself here before anybody says it. I mean, I was born in the 70s. I grew up in Belfast during the Troubles, right? And I got 4 buses a day to go to school. Two buses there and 2 buses home on my own. Mm-hmm. And we kids can't travel on our own now because it's not safe.
Yeah.
I struggled to get home every single Friday from school because there was almost always a bomb or a bomb scare in the centre of Belfast, and I had to go through the centre of Belfast. And I still felt safer back then, and kids were safer back then than the world is now.
That's crazy.
Nuts,
That's crazy, dude. You can go through a place like where you went through and still be safer than nowadays. Just leaving your kids on it's wild, man. It's different.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
different now.
yeah. It is a pity that so it's a weird one. I actually do feel sorry for people now. I feel sorry for parents now. How hard it is. Because the other thing is, we didn't have this shit to worry about.
Yeah, yeah,
You
man.
know,
Yep.
constantly social media and all that, the pressure going on, all that. It was just,
Yeah,
it was,
it's terrifying, man. It adds at a whole different level. Like before, we were out of our parents' hair because we couldn't even
yeah.
get in the house. They don't want
And
to see us.
it's just occurred to me there, just thinking about, I mean, Miss Piggy said he has a simpler life, and she's right. One of the things we did is, as you know, when you were called in when it was getting dark, you weren't allowed to stay in the dark. That's fine. But then, what did you do? You sat in the living room and you sat around one TV.
Yep,
Your dad picked the TV. He picked what channel.
yep,
When we only had three channels when I was a kid, and then eventually four, and then eventually five before the advent of satellite TV and all. But your dad, he paid for everything, so he was the one who
yeah,
decided, right, we're putting the news on, or we're putting the two Ronnies on, or whatever.
yep.
But you all sat in the one room and you watched it, so you
And
had
it was
that
still
family thing that,
you still had that gathering. Yeah, and
yeah,
you're
that
missing
that
that
isn't
now.
there. Yeah,
Nope. Now everyone's their own fucking island. It's
yeah,
just wild.
and it's just so. I do think it's detrimental because when you see people out there, so many selfish people out there now, So
Yeah.
I think a lot of it comes from lack of a family structure and a lack
And
of, you know,
it's there's what happens is because I don't go around trusting everyone, right? I just can't live in that world. Maybe I used to back in the day, but I can't. So that means I have to be knowing who my neighbors are, right? I gotta know, are they on the offender list? You know what I mean? Like now I have to get on I have to look into their life. And it's like before that was never the case.
you know.
Before it's
Although
wild.
the only thing is, I mean, was it a simpler life because ignorance was bliss? You think about how many kids that how many
100%.
times as kids were sent off to the Boy Scouts or the Catholic Church or the whatever, and half of them were full of fucking kiddie fiddlers,
Yeah, true.
But you just didn't know back then, but now you just
Yeah,
know
very true.
everything. So
Everything's out there. I don't know. I feel like there is a part of ignorance is bliss. And that
I wouldn't
is
either, JB. In fairness,
I would definitely have to agree that it was a simpler time then. You know, I would what it is? I feel like back in the day we weren't all connected. We weren't all connected, Fuck, if
yeah,
I had to make a call to the UK, it would cost like $20. You
absolutely.
know, remember that time
Yeah.
in the past?
Well,
Not so distant past.
when I was growing up, we didn't have a phone in the house. We couldn't afford one. So if I wanted to phone somebody, you had to run over the one of your neighbours with 20p in your hand and go, "Can I use your phone?" And you literally had to hand them money to use their landline.
It's
So
but it's crazy. I remember I used to talk to someone from Wisconsin, and my my long distance calls would rack up, and 1 month it was like $700 for
what
a
were you
phone
phoning
bill.
Colombia? Were you family back home?
No, Wisconsin in the States. That was long distance.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like things have changed so much, man. Things have
Yeah.
changed so much, and it's such a new,
But then
crazy
again,
world, man.
but that is still something us Brits struggle with is how big America is. Now I've
Yeah,
been there a few times,
yeah,
but it still blows my mind. I can go anywhere in Northern Ireland. We're only 6 counties, 1.8 million people. I can go anywhere in Northern Ireland in just over an hour.
it's crazy.
Well,
It's so
no,
crazy.
it's true. Some places might be 2 hours, but that's purely because the roads are shit, not because it's far away. But I can go from here to Dublin and back in 2 hours. So that's leaving this country to go to a foreign country and back again in 2 hours. But you'd still be in the same city
Yeah,
in two
it's
hours in
same,
some
yeah,
of the.
same state, same. Like just to get to my dad who lives in Florida, just driving would have to be 16 hours. Just hauling ass, no stops. And I think we did the math for me to leave my front door and go to where Dorito lives. It's 24 hours a day and 16 hours. Just straight driving if I had unlimited fuel.
Right.
It's
Although
crazy.
there is one very important question there. Why the fuck would you want to go and meet Dorito?
I want to go to California, man. I want to see it once before it goes into the ocean.
Yeah,
you know, they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
I gotta see the state that God is sending fires, flooding.
I know.
Like the faults too. You know what I mean?
And they're still not prepared to change their behavior. You know, all them God-fearing people to go, we're getting earthquakes, we're getting fires, we're getting storms, hurricanes, everything. Maybe what we're doing is wrong, but I will say the one good thing about California is it's one good earthquake away from saving America. So
yep.
Once it disappears, America will improve a lot.
It drops into the sea.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened to that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right.
And then you got like New Orleans sinking because it is below sea level. Riddle me that, geniuses.
I know. I mean, it was it Al Murray said, when he was talking about the severe weather in America, he said, why we don't get the severe weather? It's because we don't, God likes us, so we don't deserve bad weather. And I've butchered that, but that's because I'm an idiot. So,
oh man, no, it's crazy, man. The weather over here is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, see, for JV's, he's going all healthy and stuff. He's got off the drink and he's cut idiots out of his life, which is unfortunate for me. But and he's walking and all. But he's texted me one morning. He's complaining about the cold and he's got a jumper and all on. And I'm looking at the temperature going, but that's our summer temperature.
Oh God.
All the Americans are complaining about the cold and all. And I'll say this: the two times we went to Vegas, because we were there for New Year, so it was over Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And we're running about in shorts and t-shirts, thinking this is great. And everybody's running about in long coats and all, complaining about the cold. They've shut all the swimming pools, everything. And this winter's terrible.
And you're like, this is summer. This is the hottest temperature we've ever experienced.
I know. I mean, I'm from Ireland. We don't see the sun very often, So, and everybody's here is complaining about the cold. And honestly, I mean, JV's like, oh, it's in the 70s today. I'm cold. I had to put the heating on. I'm going, well, 70s is our summer, So
yeah, I love that.
But ours stays fairly constant. We don't get the extremes. We just don't get the really good summer. We don't get the real, bad winter. We get the odd anomaly, but it tends to be fairly controlled. So
gotcha. Yeah, no, where we are, man, the odd anomaly is just every day. There's at least one every day, and it's just this state that has this insane flag is
It's I know it's 40 degrees now.
Yeah,
nice. And I have to say, I hate myself that I changed my phone to tell me the temperature in Fahrenheit because I'm talking to so many Americans because we use centigrade over here.
So
or Celsius, now centigrade showing my age.
When you talk to your friends, it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, the fuck did you just say?
Yep, that's it. So, yes, 2 times, and that was the 2 times I visited America. So, that's what I went to Vegas for, but it's done. So,
it's like, oh, it's a circle?
Yeah.
That's a big
so
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, God, man.
So, my +1, the one I always finish on, is what is the single best piece of advice you could share with the world? On anything.
Oh, man, on anything?
Yeah.
Single best piece of advice. And this is kind of, I got the best piece of advice, and I want to share it with you. Never forget a towel. Always bring a towel. Always bring a towel. Right? That's what I'm saying.
What?
You know what?
Always
have a towel, man. Always have a towel. Let me know if anyone knows where that's from. You got to know it. Have you ever seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
A long time ago.
That's what I'm saying. Bring a towel, man. It's all crazy out there, man. Just always. Now, where's my towel? Yeah, always know where your towel is.
It's not the most philosophical answer we've had so far. So,
no.
but fair play. Like saying that, you definitely need a DNA test. I don't think you're Colombian. I think you're British. I really do.
42. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Always know your towel is. Always bring a towel, man.
Yeah.
It's a crazy ass party out here, man.
Now, I do know that one. And,
Yeah, 42.
You know, yeah, I remember that bit from
What's
it. You
the
know,
answer? What was it? What's the answer to life?
what's the meaning of life?
42.
42.
42. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but yeah, fair play. You know, I was expecting, don't eat yellow snow or something, but
oh yeah, no, that's a gift,
but
man.
yeah, so
Oh,
that's
man.
the last of my questions. So the thing I always say at this point is, is there one question you want to ask me?
I would say, and I would ask this: has your perception of things across the pond changed because of the company you've come into these past couple of years? I don't know. Not there's not I'm not saying closed-mindedness, but has your
I know what you mean. But the honest answer is no.
Yeah.
For two very good reasons.
Okay.
I'm smart, so I don't tend to just judge people as en masse. And secondly, because I've met Americans.
Yeah.
Right. And when you meet Americans, they're really good. I was told out of my friends, my friend's dad used to go to America every year. When I was a kid, he was a musician, right? So his name was Billy Neal, right?
Okay.
But when he went to America every year, because Americans all think they're Irish, he became Liam O'Neill. And then he could charge whatever the fuck he wanted, But he always said when you meet Americans one on one, they're the most, down to earth, generous, likable people. And as a kid, I went, yeah, it can't be true, all that there. But then I traveled to America, and you realize he's right. When you meet Americans, when you're sitting in the pub and you're talking to people, because people hear the Irish accent and they come over and talk to you, and they are really likable. Not every Irishman or Brit is likable. Same way, not every American is likable. But on a one-to-one level, I've always really liked a lot of the guys I've met and I've talked to. YouTube's reinforced that for me. There's people I've met on YouTube that are wankers, and there's people I've met on YouTube that are really likable people. I mean, and without this, I wouldn't have met you, EB, JV, Blake, Thrice, all the usual. There's even, I mean, Canadians have really been off Canadians since I went on to YouTube. But I've said this for years. Americans have a PR problem. The rest of the world thinks Americans are arseholes because they only see the TV. They only see the arseholes on TV, and it tends to be the lunatics that are on TV. You know what I mean? They see the fucking Kardashians and they see all this here, but when you meet people, they're different. Again, not everybody, because arseholes are universal, sadly.
Very true.
What I mean? But
very true.
So I sort of knew that because I'd traveled a bit, and I regret not traveling to America more, because I've really enjoyed every time I'm over, and the vast majority of people I met. Truth be told, the last time I went to Vegas, the only people that really annoyed me was a bunch of Cockneys, a bunch of English people that me and the mate really wanted to go over and knock out in the middle of the Luxor, sitting in a wee bar in the Luxor, If I hadn't been sitting hitting on this wee honey, I might have considered it, Shut up. A guy talking with his arms and all. Every time he's talking, the arms are going, shut up, you dick,
Oh, shit.
So no, I knew Americans were good people. I knew Americans could be good people.
Could be.
Yeah.
There's a big asterisk.
People I've met, So it didn't change my perception, because I knew that. I just think I wish the rest of the world would meet you and JV and and Spencer and, well, maybe not Blake, but Joey.
They've already met Blake. But okay, then here's a follow-up. What is the predominant misconception about Americans across the pond? Like, what is that? Because It's just what are the top 5 misconceptions? I have to know, because
Well,
I don't know. We're just loud, brash, not cultured.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, yes, because the problem is the vast majority is don't have passports and you don't travel outside of America. And it
Yeah,
tends to be the only ones that do travel are the fat idiots with Hawaiian shirts and fanny packs.
yeah, we mass produce them
Yeah.
and we send them out as ambassadors.
I know he's not in the chat. Joey is exactly in the same in real life as he is on his channel. He's loud and he's funny and he's gregarious and he's and you can hear him from miles off. Always said Joey doesn't need a microphone, you can just hear him. And it just meant because we were standing in the bar, standing Robinson's in the middle of Belfast, a few drinks in us, and Joey stand talking at the top of his lungs about titties. It's just that's his favorite topic, and he's talking about titties and all the rest of it, and everybody can fucking, and everybody around can hear, and he is just exactly the same. And there is the thing about having they've got the American sports stuff on, they've got the baseball caps, but then again, the Brits travel and the Irish travel with their football tops and all. So it's, but yeah, I would say the stereotype is that you're all fat and stupid, and it isn't true,
2 for 2, 2 for 2. Hell yeah, man.
But stereotypes always have some basis in it's like cliches became a cliche because there was some element to it was true, but it doesn't mean it stands up every time. I say in my experience, so I have to say this quietly, I do love America and I love a lot of Americans. I love you've got this you've got this endless optimism, and sometimes it's sometimes it's uncalled for, but you've got that, and it's we can do, the American dream is there, everybody can achieve this, and it's a great ideal, but I think we're more grounded. We realize that most of us aren't going to achieve. We're not going to get that brass ring,
You guys have been around since the beginning. You guys invented inventing. You know what I mean? You guys have had your chance in the sun.
I'm not going to give it another shameless plug just in case they're watching.
Oh yeah.
Bushmills is the oldest licensed distillery in the world. 1608 on all their bottles. What? That's when they got their license. 1608. That was 10 years before the Mayflower left for America. That's how old. That's how old we are.
So, what is that you're drinking, Captain?
Bushmills whiskey. The oldest licensed distillery in the whole world.
There you go. I think you
got your plug.
You're short right there. You got your plug.
So, if you're up for a couple of questions from the chat, if that's all right.
Yeah, man. I shall field some questions for a little bit before my bladder explodes.
So the first one's from your partner in crime. So Spencer's asking, what's your relationship with gluten?
Well, funny you should mention that. As I get older and as life decides to throw a bunch of spanners my way, I'm breaking down, dude. I have decided that gluten is my mortal enemy. Now, no, that does not mean I'm going to start driving a hybrid. No, that does not mean I'm gladly and proudly going to start freaking driving some sort of economy-friendly vehicle. It just doesn't. I've noticed the changes. You pass 30, and you're like, "What the fuck is next?" You wake up, you hear bubble wrap, shit breaks down. I'm like, the engine's fine, the engine's running, but there's a rattle somewhere. Something's going, and I'm like, oh my god. And I think it's that, and I'm like, how can I? And it's a shameful thing because I can't look at my son in the eyes and like, your dad is having a hard time with gluten, but we'll get through it. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck gluten is, but we'll get through it, son. And if
gluten's probably half the flavor in things, so. Some things you have to accept. You have to look. If you ever make it this side of the pond, I'll take you for an Ulster fry.
And I'm fine with that. Listen, I don't live my life in fear of gluten.
No,
like some of these healthy people.
Yep.
Right. I will vicariously live through my child, but I will fearlessly eat gluten if I have to. Just know that don't talk to me afterwards. I will bravely and proudly eat
Oh,
gluten.
I'll take it for lobster fry, sausage, bacon, potato bread, soda bread, fried egg, and it's the nicest breakfast you'll ever have.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I'm down
and
with
it's
that.
great. So,
And so,
so
yeah, so that's something. That's Spence. That's what's happening. That's my relationship with gluten these days. I've switched it on to it's complicated. It's a complicated one.
it's not normally. Well, I suppose it is a relationship status, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
what's your relationship? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
it's definitely complicated.
Okay, so squirrel. Is it a? Well, I think you meant it. Is it a conspiracy that you and Chatty both like long walks on the beach?
Dude, I don't think there are any beaches out there in Denver, dude.
Oh, gosh, yeah, he's in Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, there's a desert, but no. Squirrel. Just know, even though we flew the coop a long time ago. Is that a question? I will field this.
No, I think that's
Oh,
that's a commentary on
oh, I
you
got
know.
it. I was like, oh yes.
There's a question. I'm trying to mark. EB's got a question for you later. We'll come back to that. So
Okay.
some of Joey's I'm going to just glaze over because Joey's are Joey's. So this is Mick T's question. If you was a judge of the X Factor, if you didn't know Spencer, honestly, would you golden buzzer him or jog him on?
Listen, it is my job to golden buzzer everyone. Do I only get one gold? I don't know that show. Is it golden
Right.
buzzer?
The X Factor it's sort of like America's Got Talent. Okay. So if Spencer come on, you didn't know him, would you hit the big red buzzer and get him off the stage, or would you put him through basically? And jog on is a British thing for yeah.
Oh, I'd put him through, man. Come on. He is the anti-establishment. I'm all for that.
If you didn't know him if you
Oh
didn't
yeah.
know him is the question.
I would, man. I would. I definitely would, man. Now, and that's not because he's there. I've been there for Spence for a minute. I knew Spence's music before I knew him. So I knew Spencer as the musician before I knew Spencer the human.
Right, so you're not qualified to answer that because you knew him. So we'll move on then. So JB wants to know who's the least favorite UK reactor. You know,
The UK reactor? They have UK
it's okay.
reactors?
You could say Chario. Nobody's going to mind if you want to say Chario. You know, so.
Oh, I was gonna say the
I think he means people that react to UK stuff, not necessarily
Oh,
somebody from UK.
okay, because I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know too many. I'm trying to think. If I had to choose, probably there's this group that's like they're twins. I think they're twins. I don't know. They're like, and they react to everything under the sun, but they've been reacting to, I guess, British stuff lately, and I'm not a fan of it. I was never a fan of their reactions, never a fan of their whatever. And what do you say? You can say the name. No, he's not watching, nor does his crowd. Very true. But there's a group of twins that do it, and I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a
See,
fan of their channel.
you have to remember, this is my channel. This is an honesty channel, so you can say
Oh
what you think.
shit!
So
Well,
don't
in
worry
that
about
case,
it. It's not. And nobody's watching. Let's face it. It's not like you're on a brace suck when you go see that guy from Alabama with a beard. You know, we don't like him.
yeah.
You have 100,000 people are going to see that potentially, so you don't say it. Nobody's
But
watching it.
I still
You're amongst
have to
friends.
say,
Is my point. Not nobody's watching. You're amongst friends.
I
Being
definitely appreciate that, and I feel that honestly. But there is, hold on, I'll find it right now. Let me see. There is,
and if you want, we have mods in the chat. If you want, people can put his link in the chat so as we can go and take a piss. If you want, if it's somebody you really
there you
don't like,
go.
we can go and start trolling them.
there is, I don't know. Is it the Twins' new trend? I don't know. I don't want to say that. There's a group of guys out there that is absolutely not my thing. And somewhere, okay, I'll give you this. Like when you clearly don't get what the hell's going on, right? When you clearly don't get what the hell's going on, and not try to get it, or it doesn't sink in. It's just I'm done with it. Like I'm done with you. Don't you give me that laugh. I cannot watch you laugh at something. So, what? Hey, listen, I can't watch people that fake anything. Period.
Okay.
You know, I can't do it. So for me, it's those guys.
Okay.
Winner serve.
Let
me see. So, sorry, man.
If you want, we'll skip past that because I thought it was only Joey put that sort of question in the thing. So,
no, it's definitely a squirrel question too.
Yep.
Oh man.
Right. So, I think Spencer answered this earlier in the chat. Will you do only fills and orders, or is it a copyright nightmare?
That's a Spence question. That's a Spence question.
Can we do it? Probably. Spencer answered that earlier. I think he said.
I think he did too.
Yeah. It's. I know it gets to the point. To be brutally honest, I've stopped watching as much reactions because watching something with copyright over the top of it, it's like it's already weird for me. I watch reactors if I like the person. I watch EP because I like him. I watch you and Spencer because I like you. Sorry, I like you too. You know what I mean? That was a joke, Spencer.
I got you.
And I watch Squirrel because I like Squirrel, but it gets, it's already weird me watching somebody, and I like to see what people I like think about stuff that I liked.
Yeah.
But I love watching his, do the in-betweeners stuff and all the rest of it because I love the in-betweeners. But then it gets to the point where you can't see the screen because of the copyright. It's like.
Yeah, that's the point, right? That's the point. Like, I get it. The copyright thing is annoying, but it's like in our world, it's the reaction, right? You guys have already seen it. That's how we think. It's like, okay, they've already seen it. They know this like the back of their hand, and then we have to put copyright on top of it just to get it out, assuming you are fans of the, and I'm not saying you, but I'm saying in general, that's the gist.
Yeah, no, I understand completely why you do it, but I just find it's going to make it harder and harder for you to grow. Because if I didn't know you and I'm sitting strolling through American Reacts 2 and I'm looking at it going, well, they're watching Faulty Towers, but I can't see what they're reacting to, so it's it's weird, and like saying, and it's not a criticism of you guys, you know what I mean? I still watch your stuff, and I still watch EB stuff, and I still watch Squirrels. But at this point, I'm only watching it because I like you guys. You know what I mean? And it's because if I if I stumbled across the channel, EB's a perfect example. EB's got this infectious laughter. EB'd be brilliant to sit in the house and watch, old school with or something, because laughter is infectious, and that's why he just went like that, because that laughter. But now that it's so hard for you to get stuff through copyright, it's like, really, it's weird. And so I sympathy for you to try to get stuff through the fucking copyright. No, it's so difficult, and I just think it's going to be. And I understand that's why I think you all have to pivot a wee bit now, because it's so hard for you to get stuff through the copyright,
Yeah, no, EB dropped a name that Spence and I follow, and we have to check out a video that one of our people in our sphere has gotten demonetized, and I'm interested to check that out.
It's weird, so
JV, oh my god, sorry, Captain, but yes, JV, Eagles reaction channel. We should all do it. We should all just Eagles reaction channel.
Yeah.
Just see how fast it gets
Yeah,
taken down.
it's. I mean, I've only done a few shorts, and even sitting trying to get those past the copyright. And I know JV had issues trying to get monetized. I mean, JV had the watch hours, he did the subscribers, but they didn't like the type of content he was doing, even though none of it, when you put it through the YouTube filter, was coming up copyright. So it gets to the point where it's a nonsense. Like I say, just we give the creator the money if that's what you want to do, but let them do it.
Yeah, that's my thing. Oh God,
I don't see how it damages the Eagles for you to sit and watch an Eagles video and go, this is the first time I've heard Hotel California done in live at Moscow, whatever.
And that's the thing. Like, look, Thrash got hit playing it live on the guitar. Spence got hit doing a cover of what is it, Hotel California, and it's like, dude, it blows my mind. Now we have to wait like 3 years for them to die of old age.
I have to point out, Thrash, in fairness, that was my fault. I reported you. We did try and give you a hint, but you wouldn't listen. So, so that's all I'm saying. So.
Yep. I covered that. Didn't sound anything like the original. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. The Eagles. Yeah. We should all form together, just one YouTube channel, just to.
Well, in fairness, Thrash and I were talking about checking out Rumble. Thrash is looking in, because Rumble's different. But the problem is everybody's built up fans and subscribers here. Unless you're properly big, that's not going to transfer over, So,
okay, that's.
This is the guy you do the podcast with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Would you rather see Loch Nessie or Bigfoot then?
Well, I hate water, so I would hate to see Loch Ness. That means I've made bad choices. Bigfoot, I'm like, that's normal. That's normal day in the woods. So Loch Ness that means I'm on the water seeing Loch Ness. I'm not seeing Loch Ness in my forest. So Nessie for me is more terrifying than Bigfoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should say the thing. Spencer mentioned Patreon there somewhere. There we go. Mm-hmm. But Patreon's a paid thing, isn't it?
Yep.
And the problem for me is, for one thing, I'm suffering like a lot of people from subscription fatigue, because you get all these things. It's only $5 a month. It's only $6.99. It's only $7. But then you add them all up, and it's a lot of money. And then you look, you check your bank balance, and you're going, well, I pay this, and they're only wee things, but it's like death by 1,000 cuts. The other thing is, I'm an old man. I've seen all the shit that you react to, so for me to pay to watch somebody to react to something I've seen for years, I personally can't do.
Yeah.
And it's not a criticism of you guys, because it's new to you. But from my point of view, and I suppose a lot of people are going, I don't want to pay to see somebody else watch something I've seen. So that's my slight grumble about that, So
yeah, and that's always valid, man. Everyone's opinion about that thing is valid. It's just there's just no win. And my thing is, like you said, why can't they just let it through and just take money from it? And why can't they
It can't be bad for the Eagles to have people reacting to it and having new people in the, even if it's just click on their official YouTube channel, even if they don't go and buy their stuff, or
Yeah,
it just
blows my mind, man.
Stupid, So
blows my mind. Like
first one from Joey.
Oh, who's your anti-hero? What?
You may not.
I missed that. I know I missed something, and that was what I missed. What?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later. But it's just somebody turns up on the channel that I can't. Yeah. It drives me fucking mental.
Oh man. Oh shit. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm looking at the chat. Spence, Spence, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some musicians that are with the times, not these old heads that just straight up.
Okay, but I have to say, I don't get this guy. Everybody's doing rain reactions.
All of them are.
I don't get him. I know EB likes him, You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it is each to their own. But Charlie was reacting to everything he does, and the first one, everybody's going, "This guy's a genius," and I'm going, "What for?" You know, I personally don't get it. You know, he's copyright free, which is good, and it's a genius move because it means every reactor does them, and it gets them out there, and I understand that. But as a music fan, I'm listening, I'm looking at it and going, "This
Well,
isn't
I mean,
you."
that's the thing about it, man. It's like you're gonna resonate with some, not all. There's, that'd be ridiculous to resonate with everyone, and the reason he's everywhere is because of that. He doesn't he opens the door up, for everyone to react to his music because it's a brilliant marketing stunt.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
freaking genius. And I mean, every other video on my feed on YouTube is Ren reactions.
Yeah.
And I bet for you, since you actually hover around my channel, it's probably all Nightwish for you, man. And I so
Again,
it's like,
it's the curse of the algorithm.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if I watch EB react to something, which I do, all of a sudden, whatever he's reacted to, all of a sudden that's all of the peers in my feed, and then you get everybody that's reacted to Oasis, Rain, Al Murray, whatever, and it is the curse of the algorithm.
Yep.
And because you do Nightwish every 5 minutes,
At
um,
least. Yeah.
yeah, I get Nightwish stuff popping up constantly, and that's I understand people are passionate about that stupid, annoying music, but
Oh
but you
God.
know what I mean. It's not my cup of tea. It's like me forcing ACDC down everybody's neck,
Yeah.
Which, in fairness, if I ruled the world, which would be one of the first things I do, you have to listen to ACDC every morning for half an hour before you go to work. But I get
Uh,
it. So right, a proper question from EB, and I think this will be our last one.
all right.
So, what do you think of the current climate for reactions on YouTube? The overall climate, thanks to the corporatization push currently on the platform, whether with big creators or corporations.
I think we're merely we're merely here for a brief second, right? We're here for a blink of an eye. We everything comes and goes, and it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. It's pretty wild the road that we're on. I don't know longevity. Who is the oldest? Who is um the longest YouTuber out there? Like not the longest. That sounds weird. That sounds very weird. Let us measure them.
As
No,
you get back, as you get back to Pornhub again.
yeah. Um, who has been at this thing the longest? Does anyone know? Who is the still with an active account? I would love to see what their channel looks like today than it did when they first started. It's crazy. Like we all have to give and take and change and morph into something the way we want it to, or to just stay relevant. PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, or someone else. All right, that's
I
crazy.
don't even know who PewDiePie is or what he does, but I know his name.
Yeah,
So
I gotta watch that, Spence. I gotta watch that next one after this. Um, but yeah, no. So EB, I think it's pretty. You gotta stay fluid. You gotta stay. You know, um, I don't know, man. You have to have a backup plan in this game. That's for damn sure.
okay. So one
All right.
last question, just in case
Yeah.
he's still watching. Anybody want to throw down? Blake, yes. Um,
Yeah.
Schedule it, and what's the old saying? If you book them, they will come. So, um, if you're still watching at this point, book it, and we'll turn up. We'll probably talk off
Oh
air
yeah.
for 5 minutes because I want to thank Daniel profusely, but I'll do that in private.
No worries,
And
man.
so yes, Blake, if you want to book it, we'll turn up for a bit. Although it is already 2 o'clock here, so
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Good morning, by the way.
yeah.
Crazy.
So I think that's us. Daniel,
Hey, man.
thank you very much for doing this. I really enjoyed this.
Man,
Um,
thanks, dude.
I appreciate you coming and doing this because I know, I mean, you're actual YouTube royalty and I'm just an interloper.
No,
you
man.
know. So
You're
um,
you're part of this crazy thing we're on, man, and we're crazy family. You know,
but
it's what it is
this was
about, man.
just a throwaway thing, and to be honest, I really enjoyed doing it. This is my fourth
Thanks,
show,
man.
and I really enjoyed it.
Hey, man.
But this has been fantastic. There's 3 hours out of your life
It's
you're
it.
never
Oh
getting back.
man.
In fairness,
I no,
um,
I'll get it back. I'll watch it back, and I have proof that where those 3 hours went. Not like every day, you know. Like, hey, where'd your three
but
hours go? I can. It's right here. Damn it.
um,
But I really
so
enjoyed this, man. I appreciate this.
just before we go, if there's anything you want to shout out for you on your channel or your Spencer's channel, um,
Hey,
please do.
we all have our channels, guys. Really check out Spencer Joyce Music, doing awesome things. Embrace the suck, yeah, we do that thing. It's great. Areas in the Nation, it's in the title. My own channel. It's music based, heavy in the music reactions. And we just crossed over, I think, 11,400. So it's been fun. It's been a crazy little thing that we're on. And yeah, no, I love it. I'm plugged into friends and family here. You know, I know each and every one of you guys in the chat right here. Look, Spence, Sam, JV, EV, Thrash. Like, come on, man. This is great. It's just a great way to sit back and actually have a one-on-one with friends. This is what it's about, and what it should have stayed about to me. You know, it's connecting, not this dividing, not this separating shit that's going on.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. So, listen again. Thank you very much for
man,
coming up.
of course,
It's been fantastic. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And I'm going to miss some of the names, but
yes,
I'm just JV, Sam, Rabbit Hole Library, whose name I recognize, but I don't know particularly well. EB, who's here, Spencer. Thank you for
cheers.
turning up. BC, Thrice. And I'm apologies if I'm missing somebody, but thank you.
Oh,
Everybody's turned up. I've appreciate you.
thanks, guys.
Turn up and watching us lunatics talk about rubbish. Um,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I haven't got a guest confirmed for next Friday, but I'll work on that. Your own Laz. Sorry, I guess I forgot Laz. Laz turned up as well. So and Squirrel. That's Squirrel.
Hey, squirrel.
The Squirrel always finishes on a positive note. Yeah.
There you
Hey
go.
Squirrel.
Night, man.
So um I'll get somebody arranged for next Friday, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon. So night everybody.
Later, guys.